titillate the juices. You know what? Woo! Right now. Woo! Woo!
Dr. Hughes invites followers. Oh, let's see if they increase now. Me too. Yeah, wow. Dr. Hughes.
Mock-ass mock.
He's a great podcaster.
Trick-ass mock.
Acknowledge me.
We coming for you, nigga. Fat! Yeah, Dr. Hughes, here we go. Keep plugging yourself, that's cool.
First up, a man whose looks will serve your inner needs and desires.
Dr. Hughes.
Oh, yes. Once again, another Saturday, 3 p.m. Vince falling into the ring. It's Dr. Huge. It's the Sleaze. It's Danny Damage shortly. And, hit all the links. All the Dr. Huge stuff right there. The eBay store. You can go check out my awesome comic book collection. The podcast all over the world, audio style, video, the channels. Got a new song coming out on the music channel. Oh, there's so many things going on. And we have a special guest today. Our first pro wrestler since we've been back, Sleaze.
Yeah, first one.
First real pro. And he is D-Rex in the house. Shout out.
What's up, everybody?
That's right. So we got a lot to talk about. These people. You're on the same show, D-Rex, as DDP, who was on Legendary Wrestler. You're in the same show. Thunder Rosa was on this show. James Ellsworth, the guy with no chin. Remember him? He was even on the show before.
I was a big James Ellsworth fan. I have to admit, right around the time when he was with Carmella, I was a big fan. I won't deny that.
He was pretty cool. And then, all that funny business happened or something online. We don't need to bring in all that.
Yeah.
Kevin Sullivan, R.I.P. Big fan of the show.
Yes.
Yep. All that stuff he said about Karrion Kross recently, how he's the greatest and all this. He said that to me, too. I've been telling that to everybody.
Yeah.
But anyway, enough about me and how awesome the show is and everything. Get liking and retweeting and subscribing, everybody. But now we need to find out more about D-Rex. How did you get into pro wrestling? You're very young. How old are you? Tell the people.
So I'm 18. I started watching wrestling when I was 4. My dad introduced it to me, and I didn't really know what it was at first. Then I saw like the colorful characters, big Cena guy. Then I started seeing like the merchandise, the action figures, everything in stores. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like real life superheroes. And then got more into it, and just I think probably by the time I was like 7, I'm like, wow, this would be a really cool job one day. And then as soon as I turned 15, I was able to. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna start training. I got to make this happen.
So did you go to a school, you find somebody to work with?
Yep. So Showcase Pro Wrestling Training Center in Woonsocket. I think I was like 13 or 14 at the time, and I was like, it was around COVID era, so I'm like, I don't really know what to do for my birthday. And I found out that there was a local place that had birthday parties there. So I rented out the ring and had a birthday party there. And then, what do you know, like a year or two later, start training there. And so now I'm training there with Coach Kenny Dykstra, Ken Doan, and Chris Blackheart and Don Vega. So like local New England guys. But
nice.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride.
So crazy, Sleaze. He's talking about like middle school stuff, like when he was in middle school 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Blowing my mind.
Yeah, we started this when he was 8. So,
oh my God. That's crazy.
You know who's got a part of what he's doing here is John Cena Sr. is a part of this.
That is true. I've talked to Cena Sr. many times. He's a good guy. I got some pictures with him too. Make sure I can gloat because Cena is my GOAT, so I had to make sure I get some flicks with his dad. I've gotten the pleasure to meet him a couple different times, and he knows me my name, like knows the family, the whole rec section. It's definitely something cool to think about.
That is pretty wild, especially at your age, man. I mean, no wonder everybody said this to us when we were that age, Sleaze, and it kind of like went over our heads, like when they're like, "You're so friggin' young," like, you know what I mean? Like, you really got so much ahead of you. As long as you stay focused on what you're doing, unlike many of us out here.
Yeah.
It's hard to stay focused.
Because then you got to start a podcast because you're too fucking lazy.
You don't want to be starting a podcast. Trust me.
Listen, I've debated it before. Me and my tag partner Rocky were like, "Man, this seems kind of fun. I kind of want to shoot the shit together on a podcast." And I mean, similar to what you guys are doing here, I like it. It's a fun vibe.
Yeah, we're killing it over here, right? I mean, we're getting a subscriber a week at this point. It was day one, D-Rex. Day one, they sent me an email and go, "You're restricted. You're way too wild. You're way too good at this." So I was like, oh, my goodness. Yep, so.
Trying to shut it down.
Yep. And let me just get this question out of the way. I got to ask, how are the rats? People calling them ring rats these days.
The ring rats. I need a better explanation than that.
You don't even know what a ring. Please educate him on what a ring rat is.
Let me say so eloquently. It's the females that are your big fans, if you will.
I feel like we all kind of have a general idea of what the wrestling crowd looks like, so they're very few and far between. I do have a girlfriend, but I will say there's definitely some interesting crowds. I've there was one show in Marlborough, Massachusetts, and me and my partner Rocky, we just finished up a match, and luckily the promoter, he was like, you guys can go out there, sell merch or whatever, sign autographs. We're like, okay, cool. So we get done with the match, like, go say what's up to people, and there's two chicks that were like probably 40, 45 years old. And they're asking me and my partner, and I think we were both still 17 at the time, to sign their shirts, like, while they had it on. I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That's normal. Sure.
Yeah. Those are the ring cougars.
What's going on, Danny? Danny house. Yep. Professional in Vince's office as usual.
Yes.
Sorry for the mild lateness. Just got a little one off to sleep.
That's fine. We're professionals around here. Like I told the Sleaze before this, I'm like, I just prepare for nobody to come on every week. and I just, because that's the best way to do this, right? Professional.
Yeah.
It's expert all the time.
Right. Best in the world.
Best in the world. I haven't played that in a while. Hold on. Let me get my notes together. I want that.
Wait till the technology starts failing us.
What's really going on here? All right. So.
Right.
Now they took a deep breath. WWE ID. Are you involved with that?
So this was a kind of a hard one to explain. Technically, no. The school I go to is not under the WWE ID, but with Ken as our trainer, he's a producer for WWE right now, so he's kind of our ID. Like, he's the one that gets us those connections to WWE and to other like big companies. So he's been a pretty major component in that.
Nice. Shout out to Ken. We need you on, Ken, right?
Ken, right? Ken, he's that dude. Like, so you'll watch the Spirit Squad and like all the comedy stuff and everything like that, but like genuinely when he like at training and stuff, like picking his brain and like different things during drills, like what he's explaining, I'm like, holy shit, how do you come up with all of this? Like, how does this, like, psychology and everything? I'm like, oh my god, this dude has a crazy mind for the business. Like, it's wild. You wouldn't expect it. Like, crazy.
That's right. Paladin in the house. Man in the white mask in the house. We're talking with D-Rex at the moment. Everybody go follow him on the socials. Where can we find you on there?
So Instagram is D_Rex413. TikTok, I think, is the same thing. And Facebook is also just D-Rex.
Cool. So go find him there. I hear you got many shirts. Sleaze is wearing one of them right now.
Yes.
I do.
Yes,
I do. I have a lot of designs. Marketing is my thing.
Nice. So you're in a part of a tag team, it looks like there. Hopefully. Yep. I don't know, Otherwise, I don't understand. Well, how's that going? Are you champs? Are you winning any belts?
So no belts yet, but so it's me and my friend Rocky. we were put together as a tag team almost a year ago now, and we became really good friends like a year before that. So we've been really tight for like 2 years now, and they finally gave us the opportunity to like tag team together, and it's been so much fun. Like that dude, me and him are like we're always shooting the shit. Like we're genuine friends outside of wrestling too, and we're both like super heavy comedy guys. Hence the 17 Jump Street, because we're both big 21 and 22 Jump Street fans. That's where the name came from. Yeah, it's a good time.
Do you remember that? Remember that Johnny Depp? Remember him?
I'm a little too young. I'm talking like
right.
I'm talking Jonah Hill, Channing Tatum. That's my 21, 22.
That's
Jump
what's
Street right
great
there.
about this these days, at least, Danny Damage. Like, you know, we got this major age gap and stuff these days with a lot of the younger crowd and everything. But everything's been remade so many times that we all know what we're talking about. Generally.
Rough idea, yeah.
Yeah. Just like 90210. Like, that's a connection right there to AEW with Jungle Boy.
That is the reason I know about that. That is accurate.
Jeez.
No. See, I get it. That's how I connect with the Gen Zers and the Gen Alphas and the Gen Supremes. I think they're coming up.
Yeah, it's good that a douchebag like Jack Perry can make these kids look up our past.
Perry, please. Don't ever talk bad about Jungle Jack Perry.
Bag of dicks.
Right. Luke Perry's behind me somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Let's give him a proper RIP.
Rest in peace.
See, we got to do all these like morning, zoo gimmicks to keep people audio wise. Like,
I like it.
along.
I like it. Keep them locked in. I like it.
Exactly. If they just keep hearing me blab on, they're just going to tune right out. Especially all these TikTok brains.
Yeah.
Yep. So we already know who your favorite wrestler is. John Cena. John Cena recognized. You don't want to meet him as a toddler, though. Not around here. Around here, he's known for eating babies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need to know.
You
don't need to know.
So, I mean.
Yeah. See, Cena's the childhood favorite, but over time, it went from Cena to like AJ Styles. He's one of my goats. It was like Cena, Styles, and probably Bray Wyatt. Those are my three that always were like right at the top for me.
I have many of the Bray Wyatt figure behind me, as every grown man should.
Exactly. Don't even try about that. I got a room full of them. I was a fan before I was a wrestler. Like, especially with Bray Wyatt, I have a ton of his merch because I was a huge fan. Huge fan.
Who would you say your style is based off of?
That's a good question. So
let me ask you like this. Are you leaning more flippy, or are you leaning more RKO headlocks? Like, are those the ends of the spectrum? You know what I mean? Power Rangers, slow, boring headlocks.
I would say like right in the middle. Like, so you're not going to catch me doing a suicide dive or like a Canadian destroyer, but like I'll do like crossbodies from the top rope, things like that. If I don't need to do it, I'm not going to when it comes to like dives and things like that. But when I'm like watching stuff, I feel like a couple people I was definitely trying to like morph together were like Mr. Perfect, Dolph Ziggler, and Billy Gunn. It's like a random three, but I feel like Dolph and Billy are somewhat similar in a way. But like for example, my finisher is the Rexplex, which is just a ripoff of the Perfect Plex. Like that's what I got from him, and plus he's really fucking good at selling. So that was another thing that I really needed to study from him. And then like Ziggler and Billy Gunn, I tried doing the Famouser for a little while, and it worked. Then I hurt my back, and I'm like, yeah, maybe let's not do that anymore. Landing directly on my ass. So,
yeah, and then Hulk Hogan also did that for years with the leg drop, and we all know how that ended.
Oh God, exactly why I stopped. Yep.
There was a lot of when I saw you last night. There was a lot of Kurt Hennig that I saw.
I take that as a very big compliment.
Yeah,
that dude was one of the best.
Yeah, you and Rocky had a very good style going on. It's the style that we like the real wrestling, where it's a lot of strikes and a lot of I don't want to say basic moves, but it's old fashioned type wrestling.
Looks like a fight.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so that's what me and Rocky really try to hone in on, because obviously with like our character and our presentation, we're supposed to be like these kind of like party people, like always bringing the vibes, like energetic stuff like that. So
not private party, right?
What was it?
Private party?
Jeez.
Not quite there. I would say like right before. I mean, because we're 17 and 18, so we're not gonna come out like with fucking booze or anything like that. But you know, we come out with the confetti cannons, we come out with the flashy stuff, have a good time. But like with that character, we were trying to make sure it doesn't cross the line of too goofy, which is why we kind of like focus on the real wrestling kind of stuff. And same with the guys that we faced, Matt and AZ, Matt Michelson, AZ. They're similar style too, like the real stuff. No, if you don't have to flip, don't. I would love to learn how to at some point, but I don't need to right now, so I'm not going to. But yeah, just. That's like our main focus.
The thing with that style is a lot of people have a short career with that kind of style. You know what I mean? So it's like if you're beating yourself up on a constant basis, doing those flips and, you know, diving onto the floor and all, you're not going to last long.
Yeah. So like I'll see clips of stuff and I'll be honest, the fan in me is like, oh, that's kind of sick. Like that's impressive that he's able to do that. But at the same time, like the wrestler side of me is like, man, I don't know if I would want to do that. Like, it would have to be a really good paycheck for me to do that because, I mean, for me at least, like, my first big injury was only 2 years into wrestling. Like, I fractured part of my spine, and I never even did, like, any of the flip stuff. So I'm like, no, let's not do that. Like, suicide dives, anything like that. I'm like, maybe we'll save it for later on in the career. We'll keep it simple now.
Damn.
No, it's a good call. Anybody can jump off of something once, at least. And it's just whether or not you land that first time okay. But if you keep doing it and landing safe, you're all right. But why risk that every time when there's thousands of other people that could at least do that first jump and then be like, I don't want to do this again. But no, it's a good call using like a perfect plex just as a finish. It's nice and simple. You're not risking yourself or the other person much. You get something like the coup de grace where you do the big double stomp, and it's just very easy to just miss that and just either hurt yourself or hurt the other person. Or that finish Neville used to use, I can't remember what it's called in.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name, but that was
the red arrow. It looked beautiful, but just the slightest mistake, he could really hurt himself. It could really hurt the other person. And if you're just doing it every night, it's just you're rolling the dice too many times. So yeah, man, you do right. Keep it simple. You'll last a lot longer. But like I say, accidents do happen, and you did get injured. But yeah, don't roll the dice too many times with stuff like that. You do right.
Well, the less is more, you know, especially in that business.
That's a big thing. That's that Kenny preaches. Like it's a good way he explained it is the in betweens is really what gets people into it. Like I mean Hogan for a good example. Maybe not nowadays. He's not the most over, but you know, back in the day. Just the different things he did to engage the crowd. That's what got people into him. Like he wasn't the greatest wrestler, but the dude knew how to entertain. Even Roman too. He's another good example. Like he knows how the business works, and he knows the in betweens. Like that's what matters the most.
Yeah,
Stone Cold wouldn't do flips, but just his in between was just I'm The Rock. Sorry, Sleaze.
No, I was going to just say the point that like every big wrestler that's drawn money has not been a fantastic wrestler. Yeah, you know they're the total package. They can put on a good match, but it's the storytelling, the selling, you know, the presentation, everything.
Exactly. Yep, I completely agree with that. That's why I try to go in with that style and just try to let my charisma lead me rather than my wrestling ability, because I'm not the greatest wrestler out there, but if I can at least entertain, then I'm getting my job done.
Yeah, but you could see in you, like being young and everything, you're obviously going to learn more as you go along, but you get it already at this point. Like me and your dad were talking about it last night. You and Rocky are very young. but you have that style. You guys are entertaining as hell. Like, my big thing when I see, especially like indie shows, is like the people that are locked in and like 100% invested in what they're doing. And that's why your match was entertaining, because all four of you were just locked into your characters, locked into what you were doing, locked into, you know, making the fans either boo or scream for you guys. That's what wrestling is.
Thank you. Yeah, I that's like my main mission with each match is like, no matter what emotion it is, I just want to make sure that people feel something, which obviously like in some like smaller crowds, it's definitely hard to do, but like you still gotta get something out of them. Like if there's 10 people in the crowd compared to, 300, like still, if you can get each one of those 10 people to have some sort of emotion during the match, then you got your mission accomplished. Like, yeah, that's like how you guys were saying earlier, like the best wrestlers weren't the best wrestlers because they were able to entertain people and get them locked in and draw the money that they did. Like, yeah.
I think somebody disagrees with that.
All right, they didn't need to be the best wrestlers.
Yeah,
they may have been, but they didn't need to do all of that fancy stuff. That's not what held it together. But yeah, Brett just. But then look at Brett. He didn't have as much of that sizzle. Like with the charisma sort of side, he liked to wear sunglasses in front of arenas full of people because it helped his confidence. It didn't bother him as much. But in the ring, phenomenal. But yeah.
And what are we talking? Are you an underwear wrestler or a pants wrestler?
Oh no, I'm tights. I don't need to wear grape smugglers. I'm all good. Yep. I like my long john. I used to wear shorts, but no, I like my long johns with the kick pads.
Yep.
I like keeping it private.
Not even the big FTR granny panties.
Oh,
never wear those either. No.
No, thank you. No diapers for me.
They look ridiculous with those things on. I get it. They're looking the old school wrestler look, and they got it down. But man, the big diaper look, it looks silly.
I mean, if anybody was gonna do it, I guess it does make sense that it's them because, like you said, they're the old school wrestler look. Like, I mean, obviously it's always the same comparison, but to Tully and Arn, that's who they always remind me of. So it makes sense to an extent.
Yeah,
I would never rock them, but like respect to them.
And do you watch the oldies at all? Any old wrestling? Like, have you gone back?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, 99% of the time that like any of my trainers tell me to watch tape, usually it is like older stuff. But if I'm watching on my own time, like what am I actually going to be entertained by? Because, and this is no disrespect to like older wrestling, but a lot of times compared to what is happening now, it's like you could kind of see how dated it is. But Mr. Perfect, Rick Rude, those two are ones that I could genuinely watch now, and they look like they would fit in this era. Mm-hmm. I would say like Michaels too.
Michaels was my favorite until he blocked me on Twitter.
Who was
my favorite? Shawn Michaels was my favorite.
Blocked you on Twitter?
Yep. I went on and I found out because I got this little picture right here. Signed Christmas present. So I rushed online and I said, look at my Shawn Michaels picture autograph that I have, everybody. And I went to link him in it and it said he blocked me. And I couldn't believe it. I cried all night.
Actually, so if you look at that frame photo, this is so off topic. One of my favorite wrestling autographs, actually, because if you look at Shawn Michaels' auto, in there you could see a little distinct penis for no reason. If you look at the S on the autograph, for whatever reason, I've seen it many different times.
Wow.
His autograph always has a penis in there. I'm not sure why.
Maybe that's why he blocked you, because you didn't recognize the penis.
That could be it.
It could be.
That could be it.
I don't know. Shawn Michaels, you know what?
What do we want to talk about?
No, not that, Cody. Say the other one.
Go fuck yourself.
Exactly. Have fun in Saudi Arabia wrestling again at WrestleMania 89 or whatever as a 1,000-year-old. Yeah, you did great last time over there. Want to do it again? Run it back.
Shave your head again.
That's right. That's right, rib shot, Brett. Exactly.
Brett.
That was that noise I played earlier. That's right. Can't stand that HBK anymore. Now Chris Jericho's my greatest wrestler of all time. How about that?
That's a good pick.
He was 1B. It was like 1A, 1B. I was 16 years old when these guys were like red hot. So that's just been imprinted in my brain like most people. Like when you're 15, 16 years old, whatever you like at that time, you're always going to like it. But then Shawn Michaels. Even though Chris Jericho did get me suspended for 24 hours on Twitter back in the day, too. More on that later. We'll talk about that later on tonight. But anyway, do you guys...
but you know what, though? Like, I like The Rock, and I can't stand The Rock anymore.
Yeah, The Rock.
You know, he was my number 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's final boss.
Well, he told you, Sleaze.
I guess. He's a dick.
He really is.
Of course, jabronis.
Mm-hmm, of course. So skinny now. But you know, just to go off track for a minute, The Rock is like really skinny now, but it kind of makes sense because I heard a couple months ago he wasn't like doing well physically.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing he got off the gas because not good for you. And you're not on the gas, D-Rex, are you?
I'm not. No, if you, I don't even look like I would be. Nope, I am not a bodybuilder, but I just get
off the gas. Just light weights, a lot of reps. Keep yourself healthy. Keep the joints and everything good because you're gonna be bouncing them all over the place.
Oh yeah, no, I'm in the gym. Just no juice for me. No, thank you.
Maybe try some Tom Brady stuff. The elasticity, avocado ice cream, and things. You know,
gross. I'm gonna get on the juice at 47. I'm gonna get on the juice.
Yeah, why not?
See what happens.
Just pump up testosterone, venom like Bane and Batman.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot myself right in the ass with it.
Ryan's got a lot of thoughts out here. Let's answer at least one of his questions right now. So the Saudi announcement has been made. I already knew before it happened, like a true news person out here. And
analyst.
We knew. Yeah, they're going to have that over inside WrestleMania there. We're going to have Royal Rumble, I think, there. They're planning to go to China. You know, they got all kinds of plans that doesn't involve, again, me and anybody else here. And it's like, when you have all these plans that don't involve me and then you want me to pay more for it, I'm not doing it. I'm getting rid of Netflix this week because I told you the middle of September, I'm done. So I guess Clash in Paris is the last pay-per-view I'm going to see. I'm not watching WrestlePalooza. I know what they're doing. It's as if the corporate ministry back in the late 90s won. That's kind of what happened. They won.
They did.
They don't want us involved anymore. They're going to sell their tchotchkes to all the little kids and, you know, normies that are just coming in. And it sucks for us people that actually like it. There's so much wrestling out here. Well, I'll go watch D-Rex instead. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
You know,
he's not charging $150 for 5 different streaming services.
No, sir.
If you ran 2 promotions back to back on 2 nights, is it going to cost me $70,000 to sit front row? T-Rex?
No, it's probably going to be a crisp, like maybe $20.
Yeah,
all right. Yeah. I can handle that.
It was 15 last night. I had enough to buy this shirt after.
See?
It's a great night.
Man of the people.
Right.
So this is as far as like this show, of course, every week that's gone by, I've been talking less and less about wrestling because there's more and more of it showing up. Last night alone, we got 2 hours of SmackDown and we got Worlds Collide after it on YouTube. It's cool. It's all free. Again, in my mind, I'm like, this is all free to me. I have cable and I have the internet. Why am I paying for all? What am I going to watch? 30 hours of wrestling a week?
It's a lot.
It's like we're going into idiocracy again. There's like real world problems and things happening out here. But they think I'm going to watch NFL on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sundays and Mondays too now, right? No, we want Sunday night, Monday night. That's football. They had Thursday, now they're doing Friday. There's too much of this one.
Yeah, but they're convenient. They moved it up to 7 because of football for you.
Look at all this stress and aggravation I've avoided since WrestleMania for just going, no, bye, and just not watching any of this shit since WrestleMania. Since Jey Uso bounced down the fucking aisle, down the crowd, I turned it off and said, I'm not watching any more of this because we could see it happening, and it's just got worse and worse, even though Vince isn't there anymore. And it's like, oh, well, Vince isn't there, so it's not going to be this bad. And it's like, Triple H has just dropped his knickers faster than Vince ever would. And it's just for more people than Vince ever would as well. So it's a bit embarrassing. If you can sift through all the adverts and all the other bump and just get to the wrestling, yeah, you could probably enjoy it a bit better. But no one's sitting around and editing all that just for the few people that don't mind it. That's for the few people that actually demand not have just a shower of fucking adverts all the like 3 hours 4 times a week. It is too much. But WrestleMania was just the big sort of like a big alarm for me. And yeah, now they're doing it in Saudi and China, and you can't go back on this. It's out of the box.
You know, Vince might have crapped on somebody's chest, right? We know this. But TKO is crapping on every fan's chest. That's what I believe. My opinion.
Yes.
What was that comment of Vince's? I'm going to make you eat shit and like the taste of it. It's just like people are doing that, liking the taste of it, and paying $70 a month for fucking streaming services now. It's just
they're dipping their nachos in it. They're loving it.
Yeah, I'd rather not. I'd rather watch old stuff. I'll just not bother.
Right.
Where's my farts?
Oh God. That's not it.
Close enough. Yeah, I mean, let's get D-Rex's take. We know how us old fogies think. We think that this is ridiculous. You know, how it looked to me is Vince's. I got back into wrestling 2014, 2015. Seth Rollins is killing it 2015, that era. It stunk overall. You can tell there was a lot of injured wrestlers at the time. They weren't like hitting creatively. Nothing really made sense. And then you'd get surprised here and there by some really good stuff. So 2015, 2016, 17, 18. All right. Well, some real bad the shits in there.
It's the shits.
And then 19 was horrendous. And then we got into the Koof era. They did what they did, right? We went through the worst thing in the world, and we still watched guys sweating on each other in underwear on TV. Okay, so I accept all this. And then, the whole Vince situation happens. TKO buys it. And initially, when Triple H first took over, it was way better than the Vince stuff. It actually started making sense. Now it's been on an uptick, up until The Rock and the Cody and him slapping him in the back with the strap and all this. That was amazing. Peak WWE. And ever since then, it's slowly gone down. And then it hit Netflix and it went further down. Now it's like into the shitter again, but it's bigger than ever because they went out. They don't care about the actual fans that have been there. They're looking for new fans. So that's how I see it. What do you think, D-Rex? It's just like product wise. You don't have to get as deep as I did with Lady.
So I'll admit I don't watch weekly as much as I should, but I will say in terms of like the Saudi WrestleMania, if they were gonna give any international crowd WrestleMania first, it should have been the UK because those crowds are awesome. But in terms of like the product, I could definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with the 2019 take because that's around the time that like Goldberg lost to Bray Wyatt, and that's when I was still a fan watching, and Bray Wyatt was my guy. Seeing the Fiend lose, like especially to Goldberg, that almost made me stop watching wrestling altogether. But in terms of right now, I'm kind of on the fence almost. I think there's a lot of good stuff. Like I think the Becky, Punk, Rollins, AJ Lee stuff, that's really entertaining. And, like, the fact that they got AJ Lee back is pretty sick. But besides that, I feel like there's a lot of things that, because of how wrestling is getting more and more popular, they're starting to ignore. I don't even know how to word it. They're starting to ignore when they were their best, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of things that they were doing that was really good when they were at their best around that, like, 2023, 2024 time period. I feel like they're starting to let go of that. Like with Cena's heel run, the turn was awesome. And then I feel like after that, for me at least, I mean, maybe it's just because I was, a kid growing up as the biggest John Cena fan. But I feel like the heel run was just kind of meh. And then the face turn was kind of abrupt. I mean, I'm happy it happened because I feel like it kind of has to for the last couple months of his, retirement tour. But I just feel like some things there's loose ends to a lot of stories, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel with Brock, I haven't been huge into him for the past couple of years. The last time I was like really into him was like when he just returned with like the ponytail and everything. But then after that, I'm like,
when he flipped the ring.
Yes, that was awesome.
Same here.
That was a great show overall too. I think that was SummerSlam, right?
I think that was Mania.
Was it?
Was it Mania?
That was Mania.
You're probably right.
There's 2 nights now of it, so it's hard to keep up with it all. But what is this?
Oh, that dude's a chooch. He had to cheat anyways. That dude's a chooch. Yeah, don't mind him.
Okay. What is his name though?
So his name is AZ.
Oh, the consistent.
The nickname's the consistent one. Yeah.
Got it.
He's a consistent cockbag. I don't like it. So you said we could swear. I'm swearing.
No, that's great.
That dude pisses me off. No.
You know what? You know what? Pull a promo on this prick right now.
I just did. That dude. That's all I have to say. That dude's a chooch. Not a fan.
You're a chooch.
Yeah, he cut his hair too. Somebody cut his hair. Kidnapped him, cut his hair. You know, he had the most professional or whatever hair that makes your wife want to have an affair, some shit like that. I don't know.
Nice.
But he looks like Ray Romano now. It's really bad. I don't know why he's talking shit.
See, I saw him. That's why it's funny. He does.
Yeah.
Another good talent though. Like on the mic, that guy was incredible. Like incredible.
Oh, I mean, I won't deny the fact that he's good on the mic, he's good in the ring, but he's still a total chooch.
And he's still talking shit.
That's fine.
Wow.
He can't cut he cuts the same promo every time. You liked it because you were there that one night, but if you go to any other show, he's the same robot.
All right.
See, everybody's got a voice on the Dr. Hugh show. Get liking and subscribing, everybody. The consistent one.
Yeah, AZ.
Capitals in that for me. I'm dyslexic over here. Stupid.
Right.
All right. Yeah. Can't believe everybody's fighting on my show again.
Great. Have you ever beaten me? He's still going.
Have you ever beaten me clean?
It's on.
You're a cheater, aren't you? Here's a question for you. What are with these refs? These refs, they get so distracted by everything. Every show I go to, they always get distracted.
I feel that. Them getting distracted yesterday is what screwed me over.
Yeah, I was going to say, that ref was very fast count. Very fast.
Yep, and my boy Rocky got shot right in the nuts, I found out afterwards.
Yep. Right in the balls.
And so, once again, we got screwed over by cheating, but not shocked.
Jesus.
So this guy in here, he's cheating.
Yeah, it's fine. He's a douche canoe.
Blocked.
He's a canoe full of douche.
Oh, yeah.
Is what is being said.
So, I'm sure you've heard about this Rampage situation. Can you want to give us a hot take on that? No N-words, please.
Yeah, that's one of the only ones.
Yeah. No N-words, no F-words. What else? I think everything else.
So you're good with me.
You can say midget. You can say that.
You can.
Okay. I was just watching that, like, I mean, for one, I feel like the rest of the talent backstage should have definitely been out there quicker, because you could see just based off the first shot that was not planned. Like,
right.
you can't fake a full blown boom knockout punch. Like, that just doesn't happen. So I would say one, the talent probably should have been out there quicker. But I will say shout out to that. I don't know the wrestler's name, but the first dude that pulled him off of him and like backed him up. Kudos to that dude. But that's just like, I think it's also largely on the promoter, because you can't let that happen. Like I don't know the full story. I saw the videos about how he the dude Psycho Stu like hit him with a beer can, but apparently it was empty and he hit his hand instead of the actual dude's head. Thought he was a worker, later apologized to him. So like you would think the beef is squashed there. And then later that dude what's his name? It's Rampage Jackson's son, right?
Yeah, Roger.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think obviously the dude Raja doing that is completely unprofessional. Like, that shouldn't have happened in the first place. The dude apologized. It should have ended there. Maybe a stiff shot, just hey, here's a receipt, but a million of those and actual like punches directly, like you can't do that.
Well, the dude was knocked out and he continued to pound him when he's unconscious. That's sick.
Yes, exactly. And the promoter shouldn't have even let that happen in the first place, because it's one thing when you let people in the ring that aren't like, workers. Like, I guess this is a shitty example, but Snoop Dogg, when they had to call an audible and he hit the elbow drop, that was terrible on The Miz. But he didn't hurt anybody. When you have people that aren't workers going in the ring like that, like it's just
Travis
you're
Scott.
asking for trouble, and especially somebody like that's gonna actually fucking hurt somebody. Like I don't know. I was not a fan of that. If it was me in that situation, or like if I was involved in that show, I would have been pissed too. Like, yeah, I can't. That clip really pissed me off.
Still not arrested, still not charged. Father just recently come out and like disowned him pretty much.
Really?
So, yeah.
He's still being booked. That's the strange part. And it goes back to what D-Rex said.
He's getting booked?
Yeah, he's getting booked still.
I heard
to go
he
to
got
different
booked,
places.
but it was like a joke that first week.
Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, but see now, those promotions that are booking him, like if I was a talent on that roster, I'm immediately pulling out of that show.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't want to get my head pounded in.
Hey, exactly. Like you can't have cancers like that in the locker room. Like I mean, I've seen it before. Like
this
maybe
guy,
not
right?
to that extent, but it's just like if it was me in that position, I just would completely disassociate with the promotion. I mean, if I was Psycho Stu, you'd see a ton of charges, and in my opinion, I think he should be locked up because like that's just not something you do. Like the dude was unconscious, and then he laid 1 million shots on him. Like
he was out when he got dropped before any punches were thrown.
Exactly.
But yeah,
exactly.
it's not even just the fact that he's a liability because he's not a worker, like the Snoop Dogg example, but he's not smart to the business either. And I don't want to sound like we all were like professional wrestlers or anything because we know a few of these, we know a few fancy words. But when you watch the full context of the videos, when Psycho Stu hit him with the can, he was like, "Are you not going to sell? Are you selling for me?" So he was already sort of like giving it away without trying to give it away because his mate's there with a camera phone filming it. And there was a few times where they're like, "Oh no, we're just working really hard. You know, we're doing our jobs," and the guy still didn't get it. No matter how many times they tried to sort of like subtly throw him a bone, he was just oblivious to it. And then he's also not able to like hold his blows or anything like that, and just doesn't understand the business. So he just thought he was like, "Yeah, I'm just going to start fist fighting." And we saw what we saw.
Yeah, that I mean, when I first saw that, I was just shocked. Like, how did they let that happen?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I blame Rikishi as usually with everything.
That's another thing though, is the promoters letting that happen. They were a WWE ID school, but they're not anymore because of that. Like you just lost a really big opportunity. So if I was somebody on that roster and I was a WWE ID person because I went to that training center and now they're no longer that because of that guy, I'm going to be even more pissed at the promoter and obviously at Raja. But like, yeah.
We did a deep dive on it a few weeks back, like after it happened, a few days after or whatever. But we got all the facts right there and in their own words in their videos. But to answer AZ's question here, what's cheating? Ask my ex-wife. Ask her about it.
Ask mine too.
Yeah, I was about to say mine could probably help a little bit out there as well. A triple threat going on.
Get it? You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Seth Rollins. Always gets it. Yeah, man, that Seth Rollins, he's good.
He's another one.
He can be obnoxious, but that's his job.
That's another one. He's another like probably top 5 for me. He's always somebody that's entertaining.
So you got to tell us some more about this. This AJ Lee return is very exciting for the younger people. It is not exciting for me at all. I just got to tell you that 0.0 excitement out of Dr. Huge. Negative excitement, actually, pushing me out even more. That's how it feels. But how is this a good thing? Tell the people so they don't just have to hear from, again, an old man.
So, I mean, for like me at least, it's mainly nostalgia driven. So, like, I mean, obviously she was around for like the Divas era, and so maybe that's why she was as good as she was, because it wasn't the best at that time. So she's just the best of a bad bunch.
Yes.
But I don't know. I think it was like I said, mainly nostalgia driven, and it, as big as wrestling is right now, I feel like that just made it even bigger because people are starting to come in again like, oh shit, this happened. That's for me at least. I mean, I could see why somebody's like, but for me at least, I thought it was cool that they were finally able to get her back. I didn't watch the promo in full from when she came back, but I did hear like some of the key points, and I liked it because it sounded real, not so forced. But yeah, that's my stance on it, at least.
Yeah. What I like about AJ is when she talks, she doesn't do that typical fucking girl crap that 90% of the girls do. She talks genuine, and she's got a serious like woman voice, not like a teeny bopper. So it's more realistic.
Exactly, and you can tell like what she's saying. She actually feels. It's not so like, it doesn't sound scripted. Basically,
right?
Like she's going out there and it's her just actually talking to you guys like normal, and I like that.
I saw a clip of, because I missed that whole era when she was around, and she was only around for 6 years, but she was apparently over. I saw a clip though from that where she was basically doing a pipe bomb on a bunch of the women that were around the ring. Nikki, I know the Bellas were out there, and you can tell Nikki Bella was pissed. She gets pissed pretty easily. Like if you heard from that, what's his name?
The Wade Barrett thing.
Wade Barrett, not Wes.
Yep, I saw that.
That situation and all that. If you've heard about Les, she had like a problem with him. She thought she was being slighted by him on the mic, but she was saying, AJ Lee was saying some wild shit. You know, like, you guys can't act and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, come on here. Come on, they wanted to really beat her up. So I'm like, yeah, maybe she was just way better than I thought she was. And
she told them wrestling talent wasn't sexually transmitted, unfortunately for them. You're going out with Cena and Bryan Danielson, respectively. So,
my goodness.
Well, Nikki Bella back in the day used to get pissed at Cena all the time because he wanted her to separate clothes and not cook in the kitchen. What a bitch, you know?
That's right, John Cena right there. John Cena, you got any rules for us to abide by today, John?
A lot of people violate rule number 40 of John Cena's house rules in the living room by forgetting to use drink.
I got mine
coasters.
ready, John. Don't worry about me. You won't have to eat me today. Baby either. So
your brain is filled with feces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to say, this John Cena.
Yeah. You have to be authentic because they can see through phony.
See, that's true.
Yes.
And that's why it also like kind of annoys me that there are so many. These, if you start a podcast, D-Rex, whatever you think comes to mind that isn't the N-word and stuff, like all that, you know, excluding all that, say that and just run with that. Because all these other people, there's like a lot of people out here that are phony. And for some reason, a lot of this John Cena statement, it seems to be true in a wrestling arena, but it's not like true in real life. Yeah. So what I'm saying is like everything's kind of a work, but like there's, you know, we're dealing with idiots around here, D-Rex. So you just got to be yourself and screw everybody else. Don't apologize. Like, you were kind of being apologetic with your takes here. Don't apologize to anybody. No, these people.
That was like when I started wrestling, or like when I was contemplating whether or not I do want to wrestle. That was my main thing. Is like, I feel like, and I've been told this, like I have a big personality, so that's why I wanted to wrestle. Because I'm like, I feel like a lot of people struggle with that aspect. Like, there's some great wrestlers that just have no character to them. So like when I wrestle, it's just, and I mean, same thing for Rocky too. It's literally how we act, just turned up like 10 times, because it's just
that's what it should genuine.
Be. Yeah, and like yesterday, at the show there was another wrestler named Jay Evans, and he's another one. Like, turn up 10 times his actual personality, and that's why he's so entertaining. Yeah, I mean AZ too. Like, I hate to give him credit because he's an asshole, but he is an asshole in real life and in the ring. So it's himself turned up 10 times. Yeah, that's what I love about wrestling. Like,
yeah,
that genuine aspect.
I met him afterwards. I'm not going to call him an asshole, but you could feel that, you know.
So you mentioned,
yeah, I mean,
Rick
maybe
Rude
he's
earlier.
show in front of you, but for the most part, he's a chooch. But you know, people have their takes.
You mentioned Rick Rude earlier, and just the amount of heat he would get before he'd even taken his robe off, or before he'd even wrestled with somebody. Just the crowd fucking half the crowd hated him, the blokes hated him, the women loved him, but he just interacted and got that many people hooked before he'd even started to fight. And
exactly before the bell even rang,
yeah.
The dude already had immense heat because he had, like, for example, if he had like Elizabeth on his tights, or like the other opponent's wife, whatever. That shit is awesome. That's the stuff that, like, if somebody did nowadays, like, I mean, I know we don't really say his name often, but Velveteen Dream did it for a little while. And I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of him, but for Rick Rude, that was awesome to me. I'm like, oh wow, that's a perfect heel right there. That's because as soon as before the bell even rings, you're instantly they know you're the bad guy.
And his face, just that pit, that it's like a bulldog licking piss off a nettle, just and he'd just stare like
exactly
it. And he wouldn't have to fucking say anything. He'd just be like, I hate that prick. What a bastard.
Yeah. Prime example last night is so you guys we're ready to come out and your music doesn't hit. Right? So the whole crowd's like, what the fuck's going on with the fucking music? So they came out and they're like, we don't need music, and totally pivoted. Got the crowd back into it and stuff like that. That's the kind of thing you need to do. It's more so about the crowd interaction, getting the live, people getting on your side or booing you and that's what it's about,
Thank you. Yeah, no, I agree with that because like obviously when we're at a show, we work for the cameras, like the hard cam, the floater. But in that same aspect, people are paying to go there, so you have to work for the crowd as well. And like with me and Rocky, that's our main thing, is just trying to get the crowd invested, like get them on our side. And we'll go to different promotions, and like our first time being there, it's just how you saw last night, even more turn up because like we want people to, as soon as they see us, know like, oh, this is their vibe, this is who they are. And that's our main mission anytime we're out there.
Yeah, that's what it has to be in this business. That's how you grow. That's how you make money. That's how you put people in seats,
I think, too, when there's that real-life aspect, like, for example, the Rollins and Punk storyline when it first started, obviously, I don't know if they're on good terms now, but the fact that they genuinely hated each other, but had enough common sense to realize, wow, we can make a shit ton of money off this, just because people know we don't actually like each other, which is something that couldn't happen in AEW between Punk and the Bucks or Punk and Jack Barry. But I mean, you see now in WWE, they're making a shit ton of money off of
those kinds of people. Like generally speaking, you gotta like them, right? You gotta everybody's gotta get along, or we can't do business. And that's not wrestling. That's
exactly it's
opposite.
You don't have to like the guy, but you have to work with him. And that's where I feel like the Punk, like this is just my example, but the Punk and Rollins was perfect because people knew. I mean, just the year before Punk came back, Rollins said he was a cancer, and then boom, he's back. That's the feud. It's perfect to me, at least.
Oh, even back in
generate money.
Even back in the day with Cena and The Rock, Cena was talking shit in real life about The Rock. So The Rock came back and they made a whole thing of it. They made a whole year-long promo of this.
Exactly.
And it drew a ton of money.
Yep.
Now it seems like WWE really doesn't seem to care too much about it. I mean, they got the Punk Rollins stuff still going on, and now they're getting their wives involved and everything, and like that's all fine and great and everything. But we just came off the worst WrestleMania I think I've ever seen. I don't know. It was bad. Like it totally got drowned out by the Cena heel turn in an elimination chamber like a month or two later. But I mean, that WrestleMania show, and then they want us to pay more while they do less. They're going to be less creative. Did you see last night, everybody? Brock Lesnar, Ron Cena comes out. You could tell, like, nobody was prepared for anything. They didn't know what they were talking about.
I saw his pants ripped.
Yeah.
Was basically the big part of the whole. Of course, it ended like that because the whole thing was the shits. And
let's talk about it.
Trick Williams. We are talking about it. So
I didn't even get to hear like the promos or anything like that. But in the locker room there was a TV right before my match, and I was watching the segment, and all of a sudden I just see Brock's fucking pants tear like 5 minutes before I have to go out, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. This is the opening segment, like.
And that was the highlight to the show, was his fucking pants ripping. It wasn't any of the matches. It wasn't any of the promos. It was his fucking pants.
I saw something come out today that apparently, this is kind of unrelated, but like literally just after the AAA show happened, Andrade apparently left or got released, something like that again. Which
I read that too.
Like, oh, all right. He just came back like a year ago.
Yeah, he's good too. I mean, I don't get it. Maybe you got to learn English, guys.
Yeah. I think that's it.
This is the thing is, I feel like because you don't have to be fluent to be over. Like Io Sky is one of the most over people in the company, and she can't cut a full promo in English, but people are really behind her. I think the thing with him is he's a great wrestler. Like I could definitely watch his matches. I'm entertained, and it worked in NXT. But I think on the main roster, the issue is going back to character and stuff like that. Is there's not much to him, and you know, I respect the dude in the ring. He's incredible, but just outside of that, like on the mic, there's not much to him. Like there's not much to draw you in.
No, he's a wet blanket. That's what he is.
About this AEW.
What was it about AEW?
What do you think about AEW just overall, and in comparison to WWE and all that? You're a WWE guy first, I'm assuming, right?
So yes. It's tough because when they first started, I was skeptical, but I was like, okay, this is cool. It's another alternative because at the time, Impact / TNA wasn't really doing anything. Like obviously they were still running, but not making many waves. So I gave it a try, and after a little while, I'm like, oh shit, this is really cool. I actually, for a little while, liked it more than I liked WWE at the time, because WWE was dry for a little while. And I was like, oh shit, this is really cool. I didn't really mind the fact that it was like a lot of ex-WWE guys. That didn't bother me too much. But after a while, I feel like it focused a little too much on the wrestling aspect rather than the entertainment, which... I mean, works for some people and like, I guess somewhat on the indies, but for me at least, like there wasn't any storylines to draw me in. I feel like a lot of storylines were fumbled, like the MJF and Adam Cole. That's a big one. Like I didn't watch AEW at the time. I literally just watched their segments. And once I saw that Adam Cole turned on MJF, but then they made MJF the heel, it made no sense to me. I'm like, yeah, I can't. Like, I respect the guys there or whatever. Like, the fact that they've done what they've done so far is awesome. But, like, for me at least, it's not exactly my cup of tea as of right now. But, like, again, they have a lot of really good talent on the roster and stuff like that. So,
you don't like seeing ass and titties get stapled?
I saw that clip. That was an interesting one. But I will say, to kind of pivot off that is there's some people that have really benefited from getting dropped from WWE, going to AEW, like Toni Storm. Like she didn't really have a character in WWE, but now she does have that like I don't even know how to describe it, but like the old school, like everything's black and white, like everything like that. I think it's good for her, like that she finally found a character to stick with, and it's over. Same with Swerve. He didn't really have much in WWE besides Hit Row, which I wasn't a huge fan of. I thought it was really hard to watch because there wasn't much chemistry between the group. But like him, for an example, in AEW, he's doing really good. He's thriving, doing like some of the best work he's done. So it just depends on the people. Like looking through nostalgia goggles, Jon Moxley right now isn't my favorite. He's like very lukewarm compared to when I watched Dean Ambrose in WWE. I'm like, oh, this dude's awesome. He's crazy. Like maybe because that was so foreign in WWE at the time, the fact that it was just this, like the lunatic fringe. But like now compared to his work, it's like, not really my style, but everybody has their taste.
Yeah, he was like Stone Cold Light at the time.
Yeah.
And then Vince kept messing with him. Remember this whole angle, right?
It's such good shit.
We want you to carry around a pooper scooper, pal. And
God, that was awful. It was so bad.
The vaccines and wear a gas mask and tell everybody they stink. And okay.
I remember hearing too on a podcast that he was talking about how I guess Vince wanted to also make fun of Roman's leukemia at the time. And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh my God is right.
That is, what's worse for me is, so I was at the show when Roman announced that he had leukemia.
We were too.
Okay, perfect. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. Before he made the announcement, when his entrance music hit, that was the loudest boos I've ever heard in an arena. Then he comes out and said that he has cancer. And I just look at my dad, I'm like, oh my God, is this real? I just booed a dude that has cancer, and that's one of the worst feelings I've ever felt at a show.
Yeah, same.
That was back when he was the big dog.
Yeah. Him now is a whole other level. Like he's exactly what I was talking about earlier, and the fact that less is more, and he doesn't have to do much, but like is still making the most money on the roster and is one of the most over on the roster.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I feel like he's peaked and that's over with. And now he's going to Hollywood. He might come back sometimes. He's going to, you know, go remember the bloodline, remember Tribal Chief and all this, you know. It's going to be memorable.
I can agree with that. I feel like the peak was definitely like 2022, 2023 bloodline.
Right in the middle of the storyline, yeah.
Yeah, and I would say that was also the peak for me, at least with Sammy. Like the honorary Ooze stuff, that was awesome. I feel like now, at least, he's definitely. I mean, he still has the match quality, but for me, I feel like
bashing him. I love it.
He's played out for me right now because I just think there's nothing there to his character. Like he's had the underdog character his entire career, which works to an extent, but then he changed it for the bloodline to the honorary Uso and everything, like just trying to gain their trust. Then it's just back to the bland underdog, and for me, it's just like it's fallen flat for me. And like I wasn't a fan of him winning the U.S. belt. I think Solo was finally starting to become entertaining. He was finally coming into his own. Like the dude is actually funny, and then he lost it. I'm like kind of lost me there.
Yeah, they got Sami Zayn as like the top guy on SmackDown now, like the working man of SmackDown. It's like, I don't need to watch this anymore then. You know, he would be way better suited in AEW, just like Kevin Owens. That's just my hot take on all that.
So, Sammy, I could definitely see in AEW. Kevin, for me, though, I feel like he's way too good of a promo and way too genuine to be in AEW. And that's not like a shot on AEW, but I feel like he has adapted really well to the WWE style. And I feel like Sammy did too with the honorary Uso stuff. But now it's just, there's no character to it. It's just, I'm constantly the underdog, but he's a champion, so he's not really that much of an underdog.
Yeah. He's stuck. He's stuck in Sami Zayn world.
Yeah, he's in that like weird limbo right now where it's like in between something like something big might happen and he's, you know, over again, but I don't know. It's not for me.
I piece all these things together like I do with a lot of stuff conspiratorial wise, but I remember hearing Cornette saying back in the day, you know, because he worked with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens before they were in WWE and stuff, and he'd just be like, these fucking guys just won't stop talking. You know, like they just bah, 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 like all day, all night. And he's just like, they're just annoying. You know, they're like really annoying and they think they're right, like about it all. So I can imagine, I'm just imagining, I don't know, I'm speculating that the reason why he's still around is because he's just backstage, blah, 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 I want, I should deserve this. I gotta have this. And now, like you said, he took Solo's US championship, which totally like neutered him, and he's got a whole faction and everything. They're trying to make up for that. They hand over SmackDown to Sami Zayn. It's like his pinnacle was the bloodline stuff because it was the bloodline. It even made Roman Reigns a thing. It
Paul
made everybody a thing. Yeah, because
it was Paul Heyman.
Right.
Sorry, my opinion is that is what made that so good and why it peaked and brought everybody up.
Heyman's so good.
Heyman was the focal point of that whole thing, and because everyone was watching that to see Heyman's interactions, Roman got the rub, the Usos got the rub, Solo got the rub. It was all
bringing them all together helps too. Like Heyman's good, but like me and the Sleeves would talk about this like 10 years ago. We're like, what are they doing? We all know that they're related. We're like, put Naomi and the Usos together, put them with Roman Reigns, put all the, you know, and then people would be like, what? So you want all the Samoans and all the Japanese people together and all of it? I'm like, look what they're doing now. That's exactly what I wanted. That's what everybody wanted because it makes sense. You got the Hurt Sin to get over there. You got a bunch of black guys together. And the thing is, you can always have an Owen Hart in the group, you know, in the Nation of Domination or whatever. It doesn't. You don't have to just go by race, but it definitely makes a little more sense, doesn't it?
I mean, they had MJF in there for a little while, didn't they? Right. I don't watch AEW, but I did.
They tried that.
Yeah. But Tony Khan fucked that up. It just all of a sudden stopped. The hottest thing they had going for a while.
I heard this. I don't know if this was a news report, but you never know. Tony supposedly changed the date of Ring of Honor pay-per-view so he can go to MJF's wedding. And I'm thinking to myself, like, so he wants to be at the show. So he's like, instead of me not being at the show, I'm just going to change it. It's his toy. So I guess he gets to do what he wants. But
well, he just did that with All In. It was at like, I don't know, 7 or 8 o'clock or something. He changed it to 3 because of WrestlePalooza. And I'm thinking to myself, what if I'm a person that's out of state and I'm flying in to see this show? Now all of a sudden I got to change shit because this asshole puts it 4 hours earlier? Like, that's really getting the fans back in.
Yeah, that would piss me off too. Yeah. Yep. Hey, again, WWE and TKO, they're going to charge what they want to charge. Tony's going to change the times and whatever. That's his deal. Wrestling right now to me is just kind of, it's
the shits.
There's good stuff in it. It's just there's so much of it. You know, we're overwhelmed over here.
Yeah. I got to go to more indie shows because I had a blast last night. It was none of the bullshit. It was none of the fucking, it was just fucking entertaining wrestling. You know, it's not the bidding wars and the fucking Tony Khan changing shit and the TKO going to fucking the moon next. You know, it's just wrestling.
I'll tell you one thing I do like about newer wrestling. This Speed Championship thing, I mean, it's still kind of like for Jabron Malones and stuff, but, you know, I'm watching on NXT the other night. They got it set up so every minute, the whole arena, the lights change. It gives you a sound at the minute mark. You know what to expect. It's a short match. You know, everybody's got the TikTok brains, like I said. Yeah. So it's this, I think it is the wave of the future. It just hasn't caught on yet, but they're adding little things here and there to it to keep it alive. And I bet you it's going to be a thing sooner or later. But
I feel like that match type though, like I didn't even realize because I haven't seen one of the speed matches in a while, but I feel like the flickering of the lights every minute or whatever. I mean, for me at least, if I was wrestling, I feel like I'd really appreciate that because that gives you a good like timestamp almost. Like if 3-minute match, that's easy. Just hey, first lights flashing, we got 2 minutes to go home. Like that's for me at least. I would appreciate that. That sounds nice.
Yeah,
it's good for the wrestlers. It's good for the fans too because it gives you. It's like I'm big on sounds and light. So it's very simple things. But if you just change, it goes from red to green or whatever their color schemes were with doing this. But I think the last one was red because it's like, hey, this is alert. It's almost over. Yeah. This is good. It actually drew me in because before I never cared about speed matches. I'm like, yeah, I know it's going to end in a couple minutes. Cool, whatever. But this one, I actually watched it because I knew I'm like, this thing's going to end in a minute and it's keeping me engaged. So
these are the things we've talked about in the past too, is that wrestling has been around for over 100 years. You know what I mean? And the format has changed, every couple of decades or whatever. But it's gotten to a point where they're using the same storylines. They're using the same entrances. They're using the same backdrops. They're using this. You need to start changing this up to make it more entertaining. Where you're not just going and seeing the same stuff you could have seen back in the 90s or the 70s or the 60s, where it's like, and people are copying each other, and you got a storyline on AEW that looks similar to another show. You need to start doing these things.
Hold on, I'm finding more bots. Get these bots out here. There's sophisticated bots. But thanks for the shout out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kick fam Discord. No, I haven't. Can you tell me about this?
Yeah, right.
About the server?
Yeah, go on Discord where all the ASSNs are at apparently these days. They love talking on that Discord,
I dropped a gun in a bush.
We'll be speaking on that later. We can't have D-Rex here for that, though.
We'll get you into bother.
Right. Yep. Adult nonsense. That's what I call it. But
no, with the comment on the speed thing, why can't we just sort of like mix it up a bit rather than like needing to have 40-minute Roman matches or needing to have just like a 3-minute speed match? Everyone just seems to want to go at the same pace now, and it's normally like foot down, 100 miles an hour. But it's not just wrestling; it's films, it's anime. Like anime and manga is one of those where like you get something old-fashioned like Dragon Ball, a lot of people nowadays will complain about the pacing, and it's like, what you mean is that it's not going 100 miles an hour all the time like a lot of modern stuff, where you need to have a bit of a slow period, a bit of character backstory, a bit of lore development or whatever, and then you can have people going at it. If everyone's just going full power all the time, then nothing stands out as going full power because they're already going full power. So if everyone's doing this is just my AW argument, if everyone's just doing 300 flips per match, when somebody wants a flippy match to stand out, it won't. Yes. WWE do the same with the gimmick stuff, like the Hell in a Cell pay-per-views or the TLC. They'll open the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view with a Hell in a Cell match, and then they'll finish it with a Hell in a Cell match. And it's like, we've seen everything already. You're not building up to something. You're then sloping down from it. And why are you doing this? Just so you can pat the women on the head and go, there you go, you're joining in as well. And it's just like, just give them one and the blokes don't have one, or the other way around. You don't need to ruin it by having two.
That's what I believe. Oh, go ahead. Real quick. That's what I believe the fatigue with AEW is every single night you watch it, it's 4 or 5 people into 4 or 5 people. They're bringing in fucking chairs for every match. They're, spike bats and fucking cages. And it's fatigue. And people are just like, I just saw this on the last show. There's no changing to the format.
Yeah. And I would say what you were saying about stipulations. There was another wrestler that said this in the locker room to me. I was like, oh, wow, that's actually like a really good point. I feel like if you start a feud, right, and the very first match is some kind of stipulation, like the very first match is TLC, and it's like, oh, what's the point? There's no build to anything. Or like what we were saying earlier with like the pauses and stuff like that is like how some of the biggest superstars in wrestling got the most over. Like if you don't have those pauses or those character moments or the time to like have the story develop, that's why every coach, like every wrestling coach, and I mean you could probably hear in like podcasts and stuff like that, they always say slow it down. If you think you're going too slow, like slow it down even more, because that's how people are able, like especially fans in attendance, that's how they digest everything slowly. So it's like if I hit body slam, then I'm hitting an elbow drop, then I'm picking the guy up, Canadian, it's like what is there? There's no time for you to interpret anything that I'm doing. And another one is like the spamming of Canadian destroyers. Really, that pisses me off only because when Petey Williams did that in early TNA, that motherfucker looked like the coolest dude on the roster. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's awesome. Shout out to Petey Williams, by the way. That dude is awesome. He's a great wrestler. But then now you see it's incredibly impressive, the fact that people could do that, but the fact that sometimes now it's just used as like a transition move. It's like, oh man, it just like lost all of its like, I guess, aura, or like all of the magic behind it. Like that was such a cool move at one point, but now it's just it's just thrown into a match.
DDT was.
Yeah, that's a great example. DDT, super kick, like any of those. That's why it's so hard nowadays too to like, especially like when I started wrestling, trying to generate like an idea of what would be a unique enough finisher that actually could pass as a finisher now. Because, I mean, like, Penta has adjusted to the WWE style now where he would use he calls it the Mexican Destroyer, but as a finish now. But, like, kind of the argument AEW versus WWE, back in AEW, I saw a match where he hit it and the dude just got up and hit him with a clothesline or something. So it was just a transitional move. I'm like, yeah, you just got spiked on your head. If you got spiked on your head in a real life fight, you're not just gonna get up and hit the dude. That's not happening. You're gonna, oh, that hurt. Like you got to register things.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves with AEW. It's like they brought that indie world into AEW and putting it on TV, where guys are getting spiked on their heads multiple times. Sometimes, and then like literally, I'm not even talking like they lay there for a second. They pop right back up, like boom. Oh, their head actually, the way that their momentum got them to stand up, and they're like, yeah, I'm just going to no-sell all that.
Yeah. It's ironic to say, but it's showing that it's fake. You know what I mean? It's giving away like, okay, this isn't a real fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I think it was on Stone Cold's podcast. Paul Heyman did an interview like maybe 10 years ago, and it was one of the other times he'd mentioned like the Samoan lads all teaming up, and like that's why it was interesting that he eventually did that. But he was saying about finishers and saying you don't have to do anything fancy. You could get Mark Henry to get people in a side headlock and just proper rag on it until he saw like their eyes bulge out. And as long as they sold it, and as long as the whole promotion, the whole locker room put it over, it'd be a killer move. Nobody has to do a flip, and it's just a simple thing like a side headlock. But that's not what people want to do. People want to be seen doing the big super fancy move every time. And yeah, you could do something like that, but everyone's got to play along, and it's got to be done properly.
I know you got to get going soon, D-Rex, so would you like to tell the people where they can find you and find your merch?
So Instagram, D_Rex413. TikTok, I'm going to check real quick. I think it's the same thing, but I might have also changed it. So TikTok is, same thing, D_Rex413. Facebook, it's just D-Rex. Should be able to find it. And then when it comes to merch, I don't have any kind of website or anything like that, but if you go on to Instagram, I have a page called Shop Rex Merch. And on my actual like regular page, D-Rex, I usually there should be a post for every single merch item. So you can go through there, find what you're liking. I'm always making new merch, getting things to sell. So you can find it there. Yep, just like Sleaze has on. Yep, that's one of the newer Jump Street designs. So yeah, I have Jump Street shirts. I got regular D-Rex shirts, trading cards, stickers. Hopefully getting some like hoodies and stuff like that made soon. But yeah, you can find it all there.
Cool. Well, thank you for joining us, and I would love to have you on again. Maybe you can have one of your tag partner or something on with you next time.
Yeah, I can get Rocky on here. That sounds like a good time.
Or that AZ, we have a whole sit down discussion and hash this shit out.
Have a debate like the old days.
Yeah,
I don't know about that one. Maybe we skip him, but we bring Rocky on. I like that.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on again, and we'll talk with you soon.
Yeah,
very nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me. Nice meeting you guys.
Take care.
All right, man.
And there you have it, D-Rex, everybody. Go support a young up-and-coming wrestler in the biz. And Tyler, look how I love GCW, but GCW is having dangerous matches, more dangerous matches than AEW. I'm not hating on AEW. Thank you. No hate here. Always just analysis, right? Hate for certain people. And it's pretty obvious when we're hating.
Yeah.
Tony Khan.
Tony Khan.
I don't hate you, Tony. I just want to put it. The Sleaze and Danny hate you. I'll take a job anytime. If you if you got all that money to play with it over here. Love it.
I don't have a strong word, but you're a fucking prick. What a opportunity.
I don't have to like you to work for you, Tony. I'm just putting it out there.
You can find his highlights probably in his through his IG again. D-Rex.
Yeah, he's got a ton of video, ton of promo and everything on his IG especially.
Yep.
So
the Sleaze's going to be his manager one day.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
After he's on the gas and he's all Batista and he's got the crazy back tattoo and stuff, and then the Sleaze will come out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tell everybody what's for.
Just a little history. D-Rex, I've known him since basically he was born. His father was actually on our show when we first started 10 years ago.
One of the first 2 episodes, I believe.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a
family. Never on ever again because he had fucking coach softball or something.
Yeah, got a little busy, but they're a big wrestling fan. He's 100% invested in this. He's a good kid. I saw a lot of good talent last night. It was actually pretty refreshing and fun to do that. So
seems like his head screwed on tight as well. So
yeah, he's smart kid.
We
good to the business.
A wrestler on Danny. We did it. Congratulations to me. We did it. We can thank the Sleaze for that one. Finding all the hot pro wrestlers on the streets. And this is a podcast for the streets.
For the streets.
I told Danny last week, I was telling the Sleaze offline here before the show. I'm like, I'm sending DMs to people. I'm like, hey, random people, like OnlyFans girls that are talking wrestling or whatever. They got multiple things going on. people that are in the video games, people are in the movies, people are in this and that, right? And they got smaller followings than me, larger followings than me, some pro wrestlers as well, some indie guys and whatever. Not one message came back. As if I'm like spam or something. Get liking and subscribing and retweeting. You understand? Like I'm not a real person out here. I'm just some AI bot dickhead that's sending invites to people like, hey, would you like to come on? Or you can promote this and that. And they're just gonna blow me off. It's so insane to me. And reason why I'm bringing this up, because I realized the only way I can get people to react or engage with what I'm doing is when I'm a dick, when I'm a total dickhead.
Yeah.
So I've seen one of these people that I'm sending messages to, they're putting stories up on IG. So I'm like, okay, so it's not because you're just completely inactive online. So I'm sure you got my message and you're just not going to say anything back. So I sent another message on top of it. Like, got it. I understand. I got it. I'm going to leave you alone now. You know what I mean? And then I get a message back and it's all like, these people, the so-and-so died in my family and now this, I'm just like, this is like, I'm not trying to engage with like kids. Like I thought everybody was like adults. And the first thing I get are like these wild excuses. Like I've just asked you to come on a show. And now I'm irritated that you've ignored me for weeks on end. So I'm just writing you another message like, all right, forget about it. I guess I don't exist. Right. And then I start getting replies back. So that's how this works. I follow people. People are following me back. Follow back. Hit the buttons, everybody.
Hit them.
This is your problem, everyone.
Jesus. That's why, again, it was refreshing last night because you had a lot of like younger guys there. They were very eager. I'm sure if I would have spread it around about, coming on the podcast, we'd have, a month full. And that was good, because a lot of, like you said, a lot of the indie guys you reach out to, they're like, well, I'm already bigger than the industry itself, and these kids were like, it was nice. They came out, they broke down the ring, they're at the stage where it's like, they're very humble about it. And it was good to see.
But D-Rex just showed you how it's done.
Right.
We're not going to get you in a boxing ring or anything. We're looking to put people over.
Yeah.
You understand? And then you go away, right? And you go, I just did this awesome show. And then you tell people, and then you understand?
Right.
No. The hell?
You spread everything around. That's what this is.
Right.
We promote you, you promote us.
Yep. Yeah. I'm looking down at my notes. I'm like, what am I going to talk about with wrestling anymore? There is one good, funny bit of news here. CM Punk, I don't know if you saw this past week, since AJ Lee's come back, he does that little handstand thing where he jumps out of the ring. It's on the thumbnail of this video, off to the right behind Charlie Kirk. CM Punk demolishing his back because he tries to like go out of the ring, almost not like Kane, but where he's like doing a hand plant and flipping over the ring, and he totally like botches it and whacks his back. He's showing off for his wife. It was so cringe. CM Punk is cringe to me, bro. I can't stand it. I stand with Seth Rollins and I guess Becky Lynch at the moment. Keep slapping him every week. Yep. So I don't know. That's just a bit of news. But they were like, is he really injured? He looked like he starts like hobbling along, holding his back.
You're too fucking old for that. Jeez. You can't do that. Jeez.
Oh, look, we got another one. Oh, you enjoying my stream too, bot? Oh, look how fast he's going. Yep, Discord got it. See ya. Bye-bye.
Blow me.
Man, oh man. So, yep. WWE and Triple H and Stephanie McMahon aren't happy about their vacation pictures. They're a little more mad than the Sleazes, I think, about this.
I'm enraged.
Yeah, he's infuriated over
angry.
They're mad about it.
So I don't even know how true that is. And I don't. And I think that might be it for wrestling stuff. Are we really done with wrestling already?
Sounds about right.
AJ Styles is, he cut a promo that wasn't on American TV. And of course, it was turned into a clip, which made me go, oh, it's a work. When he started like complaining about forces backstage that are stopping him from getting ahead in the business and all that. So yeah, it's a work. Yeah, whatever.
But again, it's a storyline that's been done. You know, it's. But as soon as he started saying that stuff, I was like, "Here we go again." You know, the company's against me, and we're gonna just drag this out.
Yep. So really, nothing there.
Yeah.
And, one bright spot. I'm hearing a rumor that they're going to put a program together with Rusev and Dragunov. So I'm all in on that. I will watch for that. Yep. Makes all the sense in the world doing that.
Big time on that. And a lot of people are like, oh, they haven't done anything with Rusev and all. I've actually enjoyed that he's back. I liked all the Sheamus stuff. You know, he looks great. He's been wrestling great. I don't see a problem with it. But, you know, this fan base nowadays is like, well, they should just give him the belt when he walked in the door. Like, why aren't they doing that?
I know, crazy. Yeah, we saw that, Ryan.
Yeah.
Did Andrade leave WWE today? I believe he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was news to me.
It's because Charlotte's back.
It was a matter of time. That's what I thought with that. You know, do you really think Charlotte's going to deal with one of her ex-husbands being in the same company, you know, banging all the hot chicks? Because that's what he does.
Yeah.
That's what I think he does.
That's why she broke up with him, right? And he was cheating?
I don't even know.
Yeah, supposedly.
Damn. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
In a boxing ring.
That same thing, issues with Cross. That's another one I don't understand. It's like, oh, we didn't really want to sign your wife. It's like you guys are like $1 trillion company. Sign his wife. Make him happy. He's selling a ton of merch for you. You could keep him in the business. You got 1 million wrestlers anyway. He's the one you cut loose? What? So stupid.
I believe there's more to that story. I believe that I don't want to constantly say when something like this happens that it's the talent being a problem, but I think there was more to this. Let's just leave it at that. I just think that maybe he wasn't being the team player because it was hard to believe that it seemed like they used that as an excuse for him not to re-sign. You know, I think it was a strategic thing on TKO's side to say, how can we make it so he doesn't sign? You know?
Yes. We should take a quick break and coming back with a little bit of Charlie Kirk stuff. If you can stay, that's cool. I don't know if you guys can, but...
Yep, should be. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Give me about 5 minutes and we'll be back and we will talk about all this. I mean, this is the biggest story of the week. It's going to be sticking around for a while, I'm guessing. So listen to this. Be right back, everybody.
Hello. This is Marty the Moth Martinez from Lucha Underground, and you are watching the Dr. Hugenstein podcast.
There we are. Testes 1, 2. We're back to it. I'll give you a little bit of thoughts on Worlds Collide last night. I watched the beginning of SmackDown, saw what a mess it was, and I said, no, thanks. Once Sami Zayn came out after it, too, I'm like, no, not tonight, Satan. So then I'm like, I'm not watching Worlds Collide either. I did watch the first one on YouTube that they went live with and speaking Spanish with the chat and things. But all I know is Dominic Mysterio is now double champ. Congratulations to you, Dirty Dom, Daddy Dom, whatever anybody wants to call him, whatever the ladies and the fellas are calling him these days. He's the man in Mexico. His father put the belt around him last night. He was forced to by his overgrown son. It kind of makes no sense. Like Dominic is like twice the size of Mysterio. I mean that literally. He looked twice the size of him last night. It was like the giant Gonzalez compared to like a normal human being. But anyway, he forces him to put the belt on him, and then he says, "I'm the greatest luchador ever." Blah blah blah, and El Americano Grande's in there, and he's, you know, it seems awesome, but there's just too much of this. And I probably would have liked to have seen that when I was watching the clip. I'm like, I would have rather have watched this whole match and the aftermath. This is all good stuff, right? But I mean, WWE specifically has forced me to really only care about watching these highlights. And I'm wasting my time and my money if I live tweet and hang out with the crowd, which I tried last night. I gave it the good old, college try at the beginning with the Lesnar stuff. But the Ron Cena and that Lesnar bit and him tearing his pants, sure, that was cool. In the, I love when things don't work out in pro wrestling. It's hilarious. That's why botchamania exists and all this. But even that, I'm not going to sit here for 5 hours. A guy just got his shot in the neck recently and over horse shit, and I'm supposed to care about 5 hours. You understand, everybody? I get it. If you're younger, you're going to do all this, but not this guy. I can't do it. Can't do it. That's why a major reason why I stopped the show 5 years ago and had to take a hiatus. Because once the coup thing started coming around, I was just like, there's no way. I'm basically done because I can't lie. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to lie about stuff. So I'm going to come on here. I'm going to tell the truth, and it's not going to work out well for me. And it wouldn't have at the time. I already know it. People were already motherfucking me and sending me death threats through this time because I knew what I was talking about. So
Can you imagine how depressing our show would have been during COVID? It would have been so bad, and I'm so glad we didn't do it during that period because, well, first off, I was going through a divorce and I wanted to die. But, I don't think it... How are we going to sit there and talk about anything at that point? There was so much going on, and
that's where most of these stupid podcasts started from, right?
Yeah.
And they took advantage because we were smart enough to leave, and they're like, oh, well, we got time to do this. And now we're expert analyst journalists. And it's like, no, you're not. And this is what would have been nightmarish, right? Say the show takes off, and I'm one of these fringe people, but I end up getting kicked. I wouldn't have been able to handle getting kicked off of everything. Yeah. I don't have the support staff for this. To keep the things moving, like some of these other like real doctors and things out here that were trying to fight back against this. And I'm like, I'm not trying to get in lawsuits. I'm not trying to. And there was a small percentage where I'm like, maybe I am wrong. So do I want to kill all the grandmas and the all this because I'm spewing nonsense? Come to find out, pretty quickly, I wasn't wrong.
Right.
We were allowed. I was allowed. I could have gone out and set things on fire in certain areas, and it would have been fine during the worst, thing that ever happened.
Hey, they were mostly peaceful fires. I'll have you know.
Right. It's like around this time, it's like people are rioting and they're wearing masks, and some of them, and it's like obviously they're wearing masks to cover their face, not because they're worried about this. The whole thing, that whole time period is just nuts, right? So I think I say this phrase a lot. It went off the rails. Things have been off the rails for a while, but I'm telling that 2020 year threw everything off the rails, and that's why when even D-Rex, when he was here talking about 5 years ago when I was a little kid and this and that, it's like that's very fresh in my mind still. And people want me to forget it, and I'm not forgetting that, and nobody else should be forgetting that either. What had happened at that time? I'm leading into something, right? I'm going to be eventually talking about this Charlie Kirk, but I'm giving you the context of how I'm thinking about all of this, especially at this moment. There's no way that this is a real person. No way. It always starts off like this.
I'm enjoying your stream.
Go fuck yourself. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
But no, keep talking about it. I brought it up with two people yesterday, the Coof thing. One of which is a funeral home director, funeral director, so like cremations and funerals and that. And the other works for the NHS. And I'd mentioned my family situation, because we were just talking about working for the NHS, and my mum worked for the Macmillan Cancer Ward for 30 years. So that's holding hands and reading stories and cleaning people as they're dying, mainly old people, but a lot of young people as well. She did that for 30 years. Now, I worked in mental health care, which is fucking draining, and you're getting people trying to attack you and stuff. I couldn't have done what she did for a year, let alone 30 years. Now, her retirement was coming up when this unpleasantness happened, and she said, look, if other people want to get that, they can do that, and that's up to them. But my immune system's great. It's always been great. I don't get ill. I don't want it, thank you. So as punishment, they didn't just let her keep doing the job she'd been doing for 30 years for the last 5-6 months. They moved her like 20 miles away to a different place where it was basically like psychiatric sort of care, which she was still good at, but it wasn't what she was used to or what she'd signed up for. And it was dangerous. She would get spat at and abused verbally and things like this. And that was her punishment. My sister worked and lived in London, hospitality, similar thing. No jab, no job. So she got that, and I mentioned that to this couple yesterday, and the woman of the couple from the NHS was like, she could probably maybe put in some form of claim nowadays about that, which I wasn't I didn't know what conversation I was going to end up having with them for mentioning it, because I don't know them that well. But it just happened to come up when she said she worked for the NHS, and I mentioned my mum and this whole situation. But my point is just keep mentioning it to people. Don't let people forget. Because you might be surprised with how many people turn around, as I am, with people have turned around and gone, I got the first one or the second one, and then I smelt something fishy. I'm just not happy with it. So I think a lot more people have sort of like recently gone, yeah, that wasn't great. But initially, and I understand why people wouldn't want to admit what happened.
There were places in this country, Danny, that were giving out cash bonuses if you took the vaccine. They weren't jeopardizing your job. They were saying, hey, we'll give you a $500, $600 bonus if you do this. So people were doing it just for the money. That's how fucking bad this was.
I remember seeing videos of someone, it wasn't the New York mayor, but it was something like that, who was offering like basketball tickets and McDonald's, and he was sat there like...
Literally,
he was eating the McDonald's and like, you could have one of these too. All you need to do is get a jab. And it's like, what the fuck is this?
You can get poison put in you, and then you can eat poison. Good job.
I'm not a doctor, but this behavior is very easy to sort of like pick apart, and that is not good. That is not the behavior of someone doing something innocently. Fuck off. Yeah.
And then the big one for me always is, and you can't talk about it.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's, slam dunk then, I guess, on all of this. It's like, we're not crazy. We're not being gaslit, and we see it for what it is. And they're just basically like, don't do it or else. We know, but you better not say anything to anybody else. And again, if I was doing the show at that time, we probably wouldn't be going right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I was, because I forecasted all this. I'm like, this is when I was in the twilight zone. I'm watching wrestling. They're telling me to do it. I'm seeing commercials. They're telling me to do it. I'm passing churches and they got tents in there. I'm passing football stadiums and they got a whole drive-in thing where you can get it done. I'm like, this is something that it's the G word that's going on in the Middle East. Just it's a soft form for all the knuckleheads that will do it for take care of themselves for you. It was wild to me. It's so crazy. Still to this day, I'm still finding people, hearing about people I used to be friends with or that I knew. Oh, this person's now terminally ill. Now this person's everybody seems to be terminally ill all of a sudden. Gee, I wonder why. And I got people out here that I know that I was telling, please, you might want to look into this first. I try to be real gentle with all of this stuff because I understand you tell people to do something, they're going to do the opposite thing anyway, most of the time. So I'm trying to be like, maybe you should consider. No, I got to go to this concert. That's the type of shit I was hearing. I want to go out. I'm sick of staying in. And I get it. A lot of people aren't like Dr. Huge. I'm blessed with being able to just go, boom, I'm isolated, and I just shut myself off to the entire world. But some people just they don't have that ability, and I get it. Like they're humans, unlike me, and they can't seem. They need people to be around and to go out with, and they got people. They waited just long enough for the people that were holding out to a lot of the people that I knew that were like, you know what? I got to get out of here. I got to go out. And
With all the stuff that's coming out, it makes me think of what a waste of time that was. And a lot of time was taken away, especially for young children. Like, I have a nephew that was very young during that, hadn't started school or anything like that. And then when he started school, it was, through the computer, and like his social skills for a long time were really fucked up over it, for whatever agenda that they were doing, supposedly. Hypothetically.
That's why this D-Rex we had on earlier, young pro wrestler. How the hell did you do that? Like, his parents were doing pretty damn good. Like, holy crap, because there's a lot of kids out there. If they're under the age of like 18 at the moment, they're like acting 3-4 years younger than they should be. Do you understand? Like, it's true and everything. Like, they're just set back. And that it was that time period, obviously, but we're not supposed to be talking about it, right? Got it.
I don't even think it's young people. I saw
it's set back everybody for
I
sure.
saw another person like early 30s today with like just holding a dog, just talking to the dog like it was a fucking 2-year-old child, and just blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, I get it. I've got cats. I've had dogs before, and you do talk to them, and you do talk to them and sort of like speak to them like the humans to a degree, but not in public. And you don't, not in the same way in public. And you don't look at the other people in public to be like, why aren't you asking my dog how its day's been? And
because I'm not a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, lost it. Absolutely lost it. And just, it was that 2 years just like, oh, we'd have to go to work, or we'd have to go to school, or we'd have to behave the same way that we'd normally behave. All social rules are off, and I can do a Zoom call for work, and I can sit in my pants but just wear a T-shirt. And it broke people. And it was gradually going in sort of like a certain strange way anyway. Me and Doc talked about this last week with just social media and reality TV merging and all this crap. But just 2 years of isolation or semi-isolation was just fucking threw gas on the fire.
Yeah.
That's fucking terrible. I know a few people at that Philly Sports Pride. It's fucking awful that people's families they behave that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like people were doing that, and that some of them after the fact that are just like, you know what, I can't believe you. How did you know? I'm like, how did I know? How did you not know? Like, all the signs were there. That's the thing that creeps me out. Is like, it's not like people are not intellectual. Like I'm not saying look at all these dumb people that didn't recognize, but it's just like, really, guys. You really aren't paying attention then. If you didn't recognize that something was very, very wrong with the way that this was pitched to the public, you haven't been paying attention at all. And then you got the rise of the Q stuff with the Trump stuff and everything. Now you got a lot of boomers, especially in this country, Danny, where they're just fine. Oh, Q is telling me this. And then they're being basically dropped into all the stuff that I found out in the past 15 years prior to this. They're finding out all at once, and they're believing it because of what's happening to them at the moment. And then it just brainwashes them and pushes them in a whole other direction. Do you know what information can be used to, it just sways all these knuckleheads because they're just buying into everything. And that's what I was talking about last week with just discernment. Like, you got get all this information, sure, especially if they're just going to show you a bunch of stuff, but you got to be able to go, that seems true, that's definitely not true, and go bounce back and forth. I'm slowly seeing people open up their minds, generally speaking, where they're asking more questions, especially about this whole Charlie Kirk situation, because it better be open for it. And I think that may be a part of the overall plan of exposing. It's almost like a disclosure. It's not alien disclosure. It's disclosure that, hey, you guys have been asleep forever. None of this is really real. And you kind of like, you want to wake them up gently, right? Because if you wake them up violently, they're going to be nuts. But this is a way, because now there's more investigators than there's ever been. We're going to look at some of them. And they're asking all the right questions. And guess what? These questions aren't going to be answered. And they're going to be like, maybe. Because that's how they do it. That's how this game is played. And of course, the number one thing that comes, because you know me, I'm always like, I'm non-political. I'm not even involved with it. I'm so above and beyond all this. I think everybody's crazy. So this is just not how it's going to work out for everybody. You're just going to fight with one another. You're going to fall for the trap again.
That's the biggest problem going on in this country right now, is so much is coming to light that it's like, it's mind-blowing. Like you said, we've been asleep for so long. The majority, not us, because we're intelligent. But the majority of the people, not only in this country, but around the globe, it's happening in the UK too, where it's like people are finally waking up like, what the fuck is going on, really? And asking the questions. Instead of just being like, okay.
Ask questions over there, especially.
Yeah.
Literally illegal. Like, I seen they locked up a comedian this week. Didn't they? They got him at the airport.
Yeah. Graham, I met him a couple of years ago at an event at Speaker's Corner in London, and he's a lovely guy. He's quite nervous disposition, so when 5 armed police officers were waiting for him once he got off a plane, his blood pressure spiked, and he had a 200. He would spiked over 200 or something. And that's stroke territory, and there have been people reveling in that, in the same way that they've been laughing and celebrating Charlie Kirk this week. I get what you're saying with the whole we shouldn't bite and we shouldn't play into the fighting with each other thing. And in general, no, we shouldn't. But because of the temperature's been raised so much, we've seen certain type of people's true colours, and we've seen how they behave. And you can't. I'm trying to word this carefully. You can't get along with people who see your words as violence, but not their violence as violence. Yes. It's only going to end one way, and it's not going to. The people who are getting told off for using words aren't, unless they wake up and stop using words, they're not going to win any more arguments, we'll just say. But that's not me telling anybody to do anything. That's just the way people are. You keep prodding at people for long enough, they're either going to let you prod them into the ground, or they're going to turn around and smack you in the face.
This is Sons of Anarchy again. It's really as simple as that, folks. Have you ever seen Sons of Anarchy? You just usually once a season, some gang, generally the biker gang, will go to the black gang or the Irish gang, and they'll murder somebody there and make it look like it came from the black street gang.
Right.
And then they get them fighting, and then the biker gang gets to get whatever business deals and everything else behind the scenes. There's a lot that goes into this just one incident. This is a major distraction now.
You can't sit there and call one side Nazis and say we need to get rid of all the guns and all that, and then act as Nazis and shoot people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. It's the same thing as the Sons of Anarchy thing you just said. You can't sit there and do that kind of thing.
And it's a historic behavior from Lincoln to Trump last year, now to Charlie Kirk, to that guy from, I can't remember what company it was, the pharmaceutical company. The fella went behind him and just took him out because he wasn't happy with the way that they got. That was it, yeah. You can't win the argument or get your point across, so you resort to violence, and you can't share space with people that continually do that, because eventually you're not going to be around. There's going to be less of you. But people still haven't learnt lessons. People that go on the internet and just be like, oh, that guy's a fascist, that guy's a Nazi. The news outlets still haven't learnt lessons. You said about England. Today we had a march in London where the police reported apparently 3 million people were involved. The BBC came out and were like, thousands of people marched the streets, and the photographs they were using was a few people with English flags and then riot police, implying that a few thousand people went on the streets and the riot police had to sort them out. And you watch the videos and it's people just waving flags and having a good time and occasionally chanting Keir Starmer is a wanker, because that's what's been happening at soccer matches recently, and that's our little way of rebellion, as well as people putting flags up and stuff like that. But the news, they still haven't learned. They still call Trump all the things under the sun. They were still saying stuff about Charlie Kirk. Fucking South Park, of all people, just drew attention to Charlie Kirk
Bad timing, huh?
Very bad timing. When people didn't know who he was, I'm sure it's happened on all his social medias, but the example I reposted about an hour before the show was his Instagram. Charlie Kirk had like 1.7 million followers on Instagram when he was still alive, and now he's got 11.2 million people. Yeah. So it's like, you tell people not to look at something, they're going to be like, why? What's over there?
Don't you see that? I see the chess going on here. That's how I see all this.
Oh, I know. Yeah, go on. I know what you're going to say. I know exactly what you're going to say.
This might not even be real, bro. I'm just saying. I'm going to put it out there. Who knows if this event is even real? I think that they're this good. Listen, if they have UFOs, we know that they do. Okay, whether they reverse engineered it or whatever, we know that some of these corporations and Raytheons and things like that have UFOs. You mean to tell me they couldn't pull this off? Of course they could. And look at what it's doing. Again, like I said, the distraction that comes from it in a week where Poland was supposedly just hit by Russia with a bunch of drones, and what else? The Nepal situation in India. How about this? The day Kirk got shot, all that Epstein stuff was being discussed through the Senate or the Congress over here, and 5149, they passed not to deal with it right now or whatever, to basically put it on the back burner. All at the same time, and there's even more stuff. I just can't remember it right now because it's just, but everything, the focus now is hard on Charlie Kirk. And I'm sure he probably is or has been, pew-pewed or whatever the kids say these days. But I'm not taking it out of the realm of possibility that none of this is even real.
I wouldn't say it's not real. The result, I agree. It might not. I'm trying to hang on. Wording carefully again. It might have been friendly fire to frame the other side, to stoke. I think that's
totally that's like one of the major things.
I don't honestly, I don't think that's the case, but I can totally see how you could think that. And if I had to pick between that or what you just said then about them faking the whole thing somehow, I don't think they'd go through all the effort. I think they just somebody if they wanted to, just to get the end result. I think the other side, it just sounds like too much work for them, and they don't. It's like, why would you do all that? Just tell some nutter to just go and do whatever.
Because all these events, like a 911 event back in the day, it serves so many different purposes that, I mean, I can really go on and on, but let me just start. Okay, so I think the distraction, number one, is key. They picked a date, they picked a time. It's again an occultic date, very close to another occultic date that 911 was. And if you know anything about these people's beliefs that are at the top that are scheming these things down, where they always tend to fall on weird dates. So the distraction, number one. Then we have what else? Hold on. Let me use my brain for a minute. There's just so much to go over from what I'm looking at, but the thing I can't talk about, right? Or else they'll kick me off TikTok for good, probably, even though we're not on there. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's certain foreign countries we can't speak about.
Yeah.
And also, you might not want to speak about them because they just showed you why you probably should start not doing. I thought he was pro the country we're not supposed to speak about before this. So when I heard he was shot, I was like, this is crazy, whatever. And then when people were like, oh no, maybe it could be this, I was like, wait. And I saw the clips recently and I'm like, whoa, he like totally did a 180 on this, where on this country. And now that's happening. So that's very, very suspicious. You learn about who his security is and who they're linked to. You learn about, again, the signs and symbols, the 33 number with the FBI director coming out. Oh, we caught him 33 hours lately, to be precise. And then the hats, of course, 47, 47, 47's 33, that were lined up next to him. There's a lot here. The two guys that were just popped up in the crowd, one cheering, the other one going, "It was me. Just shoot me now. Go ahead. I meant to do it. I would do it again." And they're dragging the old guy out. But yeah. All right, take it easy, sleaze.
All right, got to get going, guys. At the SLZ52 on all social platforms. See you next week.
All right, take it easy, bro. Thanks for that get. D-Rex was the man.
It's good.
Yep. So more. Let's look at some video here. This guy keeps popping up because he's like, again, there's just certain people that keep coming across my feed. They're saying all the right things. Or asking the right questions. See what you got to say.
Now, all you conspiracy theorists out there, I don't want you going crazy, but what are the odds that George Zinn, the patsy that was arrested at the Charlie Kirk assassination, also saw 9/11, he saw the planes fly into the buildings and called that in and reported it, and then he also called in a fake terrorist attack at the Boston Marathon bombing, and just so happened to get arrested at Charlie Kirk's event. So Tess Keyser, she responded to this tweet and she says, Grok, is a guy really involved in all three events like this post claims? And Grok fact checks it and goes, based on a review of multiple sources, George Zinn was a witness to the 9/11 attacks, and he described seeing planes hit the towers. He was also arrested in 2013 for emailing a bomb threat joke to the Salt Lake City Marathon.
That's a great one. That was a knee slapper, that joke, right? Anyway.
Shortly after the Boston bombing, he pled guilty to a terrorism charge and somehow magically only received probation. He was also detained and questioned as a person of interest at the Charlie Kirk assassination on September 10th, 2025, but released without charges relating to the shooting.
And in my mind, this just sparks the Chinese lady that was at the Boston bombing and then also was getting interviewed at the beginning of the coup business over here. As like, oh, she knows, and then, oh, yes, it's coming from this source, and oh, she can't go back to her home country because, she's such a warrior for the truth and things. These people seem to show up a lot, Danny, in a lot of these places, which tells me, again, this is orchestrated. There's no way the official story on this is true. There's just no way. I'm a pro at this. This true stuff. I'm a pro, and I second guess myself all the time about every little thing. But I think that's the key of why I'm so good at this. And I think a lot of other people are starting to be really good at this as well, including this guy. But I mean, this alone, shouldn't your alarms be going off, Danny? You think that there's just some random old man that happened to be connected to all these other things? And you know what? It could be even higher levels of chess happening where, I seen right when the event was happening, this older guy with a hat on and a blonde lady next to him are all doing these news reports with this guy outside. And I'm like, he's telling us, oh, I know this guy and it couldn't be him and blah, blah, blah. I think they're stacking layers on this to make this harder to sift through. That's how I see it. I'm not even saying any of this is true. I'm saying that they could be making all of this just sludge, so it's harder to get to the truth.
It could be, or it could be the South Park episode with 9/11, where people are going through all the different dates and how they come to certain numbers, like you just did then. A lot of what this post says here, yeah, the guy could have been involved. He could have been knocking about, but statistically, there's a lot of people and a lot of circumstances, and if this had been somewhere else, like the next day or the day before, there might have been somebody else that could claim something similar, and he might not have been to the same events this chap's been to, but he could have been at other things, and then you sort of like try and tie it together. And I do think sometimes, right, here we go, I'll tie this into wrestling. Back in the day with the WWE, they used to give Meltzer bullshit, so Meltzer would go to his little dirt sheet and that lot and print all the crap. So people would be following and chasing that. In the South Park episode with 9/11, the ending is that George Bush is just like feeding just crap so all the conspiracy theorists just distract themselves and tire themselves out, just sifting through just all this made up stuff that they've intentionally given them. So the ending of that is the 9/11 conspiracy is sorry, the fact that the government are involved in a 9/11 conspiracy is a government conspiracy. That's the joke and the revelation in the episode. So I do think there's always a lot of sort of like, you can explain a lot of the stuff. But I also think people like to just find meaning in chaos and really shit things. And it doesn't make sense why they go for Charlie Kirk. Really, he was very moderate. The people that are going to come after his assailants, his murderer, are going to not be as moderate as him, and it's daft. But it's opportunistic and it's crazy people, and you just tell crazy people that someone's Hitler enough times. One of the however many million crazy people that aren't in a home or a facility are eventually going to start lashing out as soon as they get the opportunity. See Trump's 3 attempts last year on his life, and now this. There's a lot of nutters out there, and when you closed the mental asylums, it didn't help.
You know me, I'm no crazy leftist. I'm no crazy conservative. I'm nothing. I realize that the left is out of their minds, and the way they're cheering this on is just like how stupid can you be? First of all, like, you're really gonna do that, like, right now with the way things are. You're, first of all, for your own safety and your just well-being of having a job or a career or something, you're gonna throw it all away to goof on a guy that supposedly got shot. You know, like, again, it's tough. A lot of this is tough. I didn't believe the Trump thing when it first happened. Again, I'm not one of these crazy leftists who says, as soon as it happened, that wasn't true, and it probably was nothing. And of course, but you know what? When I saw the video of this agent telling the camera people to come over here now, while a shooting is going on, and now come over here, and then the second time when he had him coming to the front of the stage to take the iconic shot, the flag on the pole, whatever it was attached to, lowered just in time. There's no way. And I remember thinking the day of, there's no way. And I'm like, I was accepting it as this was a true event, that this was actually happening. Then Trump had the patch on his ear for a couple weeks, or maybe even a week. And it was gone, and I haven't seen any scars. Joe Biden grew to 6'6" in the middle of his fucking presidency. You know, like, I don't believe any of this. This is until I see it in person with my own eyes, and I'm actually near that event. You got people out here with Charlie Kirk getting shot. Oh, he was shot directly in the chest, like someone broad said. Like, no, he wasn't. If you look at the video, why is everybody so wrong about everything? And they're willing to talk about this stuff? It's just, and they're muddying the waters for anybody that wants to know what's going on. And I get it. Everybody wants to pin it on certain type of people. Every time a bad thing takes place, that in itself is a problem, right? That's a problem. Every time something bad happens, we shouldn't be going, oh, I hope it's this one that did it or that one that did it, that has these beliefs. That doesn't make any sense. You know what that means? That's that pyramid Illuminati shit, where they're getting all the slaves to fight with each other. And in the meantime, none of it's probably real. And if it is, they don't give a shit, because they knew Charlie Kirk was talking about things that, say, the powers that are really in charge of things, they don't care about, right? Charlie Kirk is really into Jesus. There are some people on this planet, Danny, that really don't like this Jesus character. All right, can we guess who that is? Or no, are they best friends? Yep, best friends, even though they despise what you worship. Got it.
Oh, the atheists. I get you. I get what you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Wink, wink. Yeah. Nope. It's just, man, this video really says it all here. I watched this the other night. It's kind of long, so we'll go bit by bit through it a little bit. This guy's, whether he's real or AI, he's right. Spitting facts. Tell me what you think about this, Danny. I'm going to play a little bit of it.
Okay. Time. And not because of what I say, but because most of you won't be able to handle it. So let's take off the suits and bow ties and talk to you on a level I believe you'll understand and Meet you where you are. Charlie Kirk is dead. And what's followed is the biggest retard circus I've ever seen.
It's time to start calling you fucking retards what you guys really are. Fucking retards.
The political left is celebrating that they just won the Super Bowl because the Nazi racist got dropped.
Charlie Kirk was a fucking Nazi.
And just to say, I had to mute so many people this week. People I actually thought were like decent. You know, they never talked about anything political or anything. And, you know, this is why you shouldn't be talking. Again, I can talk about it because I don't like anybody. I'm not, technically I'm not political, but I'm watching. All right. These other people out here, they're joining this team and that team. I don't like that around here. You know, no team joining. It's all facts. I worship truth. I'm all about what the truth is. Everything else is very secondary. And that's why I'm always going to keep my mind open, and I'm always going to be skeptical at the same time. But if you're out here cheering, I may not even think it's real, right? And I'm not out here cheering for somebody. Like, that's insane. There's nothing you could say that like would make me go, oh, yay. Such and such is gone now. But it's like we're in this time, Danny, now, like these days where I've been seeing it for a while. Again, people I am buddies with, they'll be like, they're rest in piss guys. And I'm like, you're a rest in piss guy, you know, disrespecting people the day they die because you didn't agree with them is, yeah, we need more insane asylums, I guess.
It's asylum. It's care home mentality. That's what I call it. It's care home mentality. A lot of this, and some people it's malignant, and others it's just because they've spent too much time on fucking social media and following/worshipping the wrong people. But just the whole behaviour of just how tribal it is, and they're trying to ruin people and then dancing on rest in piss, like you say. It reminds me of a lot of the nasty bastards you'd see in care homes and asylums and stuff. And you get the sort of like ones that are low down on the pecking order that are just like anxious types or schizoid affect disorders, things like that. And then the ones pulling the strings at the top are the psychopaths, sociopaths, those manipulators that know how to push the buttons of the people that just have anxiety issues or, like I say, schizoid issues or whatever. And you don't have asylums anymore. We don't really over here. We've got a few care homes, but a lot of the people in them are just like lying and saying that they need this and this because they just want a free ride and a PlayStation and someone to come and cook the dinner at night. And then the people that legitimately need help are just ignored. But yeah, look at this lass's eyes. Those eyes are nuts. Even if she's not, even if that's not something she was born with, that says how crazy she is. It's whatever med she's on. It's whatever fucking psychosis she's picked up from somebody else, just because she's just got obsessed with stuff. And it's the internet has just fried a lot of these people's brains, and they should not be on it because they can't handle the information. It's too much information at once.
This shit wasn't happening 10 years ago. It's these things. Slowly, just everybody's gotten involved with, and they feel like every thought they have has to be heard by everybody. So even if you have these thoughts, how stupid are you to go online and go, let's celebrate, when you know it's gonna just send people into a rage? What you're gonna get? Oh, you get 5 minutes of attention, and now a bunch of like death threats. Cool.
It's, again, nut house mentality. These sorts of videos where people do like what I call mirror on the wall, or where you see lasses in the car, or doing the makeup routine on a night, you know, getting ready for bed. They would normally talk to themselves. Before smartphones, they would just talk to themselves and entertain themselves because no one else would listen. Or if you've worked in care, the sort of conversations you'd hear as a care worker, because these people would only have you to speak to, really. And it's like, all right, I'll let you just do this little sort of like monologue talking about your day and that lot, but I'm not really that interested because it's a bit narcissistic. But now we've got smartphones and people can just film it and send it to other people, and then other people like that could be like, yours is great, here's mine, tell me mine's great. And they don't think it's great. They're just working to get that like back. And it's just, it looks like it looks like normalcy now when it really isn't. There's not as many people like this as fucking nuts. But
and that's why it's so hard to do this show now too, and to get it. You know, before things were rolling, it was a snowball effect, right? And you could feel it getting bigger and bigger, and it was a cool feeling, and it was like, ooh, and that makes you work harder because the ball is getting bigger. Now it's just, a ball that rolls and doesn't pick up any steam, and it just keeps rolling though. You know, and that's how things are because everybody's so locked in. Like you said, it's like the narcissism is like a disease that's spread through these phones to everybody where they're all everybody's a superstar doing something, right?
Yeah. Main character syndrome is another way people describe it, and like the Truman Show syndrome, same sort of thing.
And if it's not from music or any type of art or anything, then it will be because I laughed at a dead man, and that will get me the dopamine and the hits and the comments and the engagement, and then people will be in my life. Oh, yay! Cool. See how that works out for you long term. All right, let's keep going with this. A long video.
The political right is crying, blaming liberals, blaming trans shooters, blaming anyone but the actual forces that might have actually got Charlie Kirk the fuck out of here.
Did you see this video, by the way? This guy, you know, they always play these songs, and which we can't play, and you know, like and then it shows you the screen, and then it shows you that country we can't talk about a whole lot, right? Right. Because again, that's what he was talking about recently. Apparently, I didn't even know, and I'm usually keeping up with stuff. I was like on some Charlie Kirk type shit because of that. I was just like, oh, I don't really need to hear anything he needs to say. He's another one of these goofy Christians that believe everything by the book to the point where they're going to ignore this. You know, you can't ignore that and be a Christian. And it seems like he might have been the real deal. You know what I mean? And goes, oh, and actually let it sink in. And he went, oh, this isn't right. Started speaking out against it. And now, right? Do you think I'm wrong about that, Danny? That seems right on to me.
I can see why the points could be connected. Yeah. I think people are wanting it to be more than what it is. I think it's pretty straightforward what it is. The same thing when Trump got shot at pew-pewed at the first time. People were surprised, and I was like, I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner. They've been calling him a Nazi and like the fucking scourge of humanity and everything, every other name under the sun. They'd been calling him it solid for like 6, 7, 8 years or whatever it was. I'm like, I'm surprised somebody hadn't had a shot sooner. So I mean,
the way they cleaned up that crime scene, boy, ooh, that was fishy. Oh, another 20-year-old with no internet footstep or anything. Nobody knows anything. No phone, no nothing. You know nothing.
That's suspicious, but for some, there's going to be some young people that don't have the internet or don't bother. Just like there's some old people that have way too much internet time and really shouldn't be anywhere near it. But
then they want us to buy just this whole story about the Charlie Kirk thing. We'll get to that afterwards, but let's hear more from
Ben Shapiro on Days Before, and you could see it. He was beginning to ask questions.
Yeah, we don't want to ask those questions. Let's get past that. Again, I'm not trying to
was perfect
thrown up.
You're retarded for celebrating death, crying about genocide in Gaza. Your side aborts.
No, we don't want to talk about that. We know, right? But you're not supposed to say that. And then how about this? This one was shocking to me because I know Charleston White. I know what he's up to. I think he's another Fed boy out here. He's another asset or whatever. But back in the day, he was still like. He was like a former street gang kid or whatever that started going to schools and trying to talk to kids about like not joining gangs and not doing this, not all this stuff, right? And so eventually he was like, this is getting me nowhere. So I'm just going to act like them. I'm going to act over the top and foolish or whatever. And I'm going to show them. And then they'll start to listen to me. And then they started to. But then on here, he's like goofing and clowning around that Charlie Kirk died. Yet Charlie Kirk seems to have all the same belief systems and everything that Charleston does, which again shows me that this is kind of orchestrated in all levels of all media types to piss people off, right? That's they want to piss people. They want to pop it off, and then everybody will ignore everything else that's going on.
No white boy didn't give. Yeah, shit. We go 0 to 100.
All right, we can't play music, Charleston White, but he's laughing. Oh, I don't care about no white boy getting shot and getting killed. Who cares about that? Blah blah blah. Baby, he basically just says it over and over. So okay.
Predictive programming. Speaking of predictive programming, enter Irina Zarutska, blonde face of the PSYOP. She's been a dead medic in Ukraine.
The Ukrainian girl, the blonde girl, pretty girl that just got stabbed by that guy. I understand. It is upsetting. It's crazy. Anybody would be stabbed. But in this country, especially, Danny, if you are a blonde girl and something bad happens to you on TV, it's like a fucking bat signal for months. You know, so these girls get killed by that weird serial killer guy in Colorado. We hear about it for years. We hear about remember the guy that went on a road trip or some shit with his girlfriend, and it was a whole thing, and then they're asking the parents questions, and could he have killed his girlfriend? And they had a picture of them going into a diner one day and fighting, and they found her body, and then supposedly they eventually found his body. Case closed. Nothing else was done with it. They just literally dropped the story overnight. Another blonde woman. It's just like we have this obsession over here. Like there was a black girl this past week that got killed by an illegal immigrant and mangled her body so bad the parents couldn't recognize her. Threw her off a bridge afterwards too. But they found the body. They could only figure out who it was by the tattoos. And nobody even knows about that because we're worried about, didn't you hear a blonde lady got killed? That's not even from this country. And I'm not saying it that matters, but I'm trying to show you, like, even in the scheme of things of where you're from, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, like my life is like, would have to accumulate for me to be her. Do you understand? That's how it feels.
I think the thing is, though, with this last on the train, it was a train, wasn't it, not a bus?
Yeah,
it was a train.
Or probably a bus.
Which public transport.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the act of her getting stabbed and dying. I think the thing that sort of like made it stand out was that just people around her just didn't like get involved, care. She just didn't know what was going on.
I didn't really look closely at them, but I know people were saying that in itself was racist. But it looked like me that they were all like this, like what the fuck? And who's gonna stand up and fight a man with a knife right there after you've just been shocked? You need that couple of seconds of like, what? Did I just see that?
But he left, and she was just there and slowly died. And
did they go to help her, or did you stand up or do anything?
No.
Well,
and then she just
I think that's another symptom of, though it could be, of the guy in New York City that strangled that other guy,
Daniel Penny. He was vindicated, though.
No, I understand. I'm saying like I'm not saying it's the same thing. I'm saying like as far as them getting involved, like people getting involved now, that made it more repellent. So it's like I'm saying it's a good thing people getting involved, and Daniel Penny did the right thing. But the way the media covered it and almost sent him away, I think gives everybody else pause. On top of the shock, on top of the like, what is going on? Did we just see that? I don't know if I'd be like a superhero and be jumping up to stop somebody that has a butcher knife. That just
but like I say, once he'd gone, there was time for people to try and help, but no, they just left her and.
Yeah.
This is a wrestling podcast.
I know it really is. It's a whatever I want to talk about podcast. But I told you prepare for the second half because we're going deep on this, and we're gonna keep getting rid of these bots.
But yeah, you're right. There are agendas in the news, and just over here, the amount of times like we've got these grape gangs that have been going on for decades now, and that's been kept out of the news. But then when something happens to somebody else, another different type of group, they'll be like, oh my God, this person was really offended. And it's like, because of what? Why is this news? There's like other things to talk about. And
let me make it very clear for all the goofballs out here. Nobody should be harming anybody. I am so golden rule. That's all you need to do, everybody. Like, let's really dumb this down for the folks out here that aren't seeming to get it. Don't do any harm to anybody else. And then nothing should really happen to you. If everybody went by this, then we're all fine. We could leave our doors unlocked. Everybody can have more of everything because there's not some little, murderous weasel around the corner that just wants to be a creep for what? Clout or because they're insane. And again, it's time to stop looking at like these random homeless people or mentally ill people that are doing things to people and look into the people that are getting rid of the asylums. They're getting rid of all the things that we need.
Ignoring 14 different red flags. Apparently, the guy wasn't unknown to authorities. They knew about him, so yeah, someone's let that go, and then afterwards it was like, oh well, he's schizophrenic, so what are you gonna do? It's like, fuck off, stop falling behind and hiding behind shit like that. Mm-hmm. If like you've just said, if you put these things in place to begin with, and schizophrenics were where they were meant to be, or meant to be on the right medication, or looked after properly, or helped manage, that is possible. Some people need a lot more help than others, but to just be lazy and be like, oh, well, it's schizophrenia, that, never mind, what can we do?
You can't just go, hey, somebody's criminally insane, let's just keep letting them out, right? That's on purpose. That's for money, and the money is coming because it's on purpose. They're like, no, we want them out there. What are you doing? Here, take this money so you let more of them out, okay? So, again, instead of fighting with everybody else and going, they're the bad guy and that's a bad guy, and look, white, black, and look, left, right, and this and that, we really got to start looking up to the top of the pyramid or behind you. Like, somebody put it perfectly yesterday. I can't even remember who it was. It's like an old ancient painting, thousands of years ago. They knew stuff like this, where it's like there was a projection being made by shadows, and people in the other part of the cave that came in were like, oh no, there's like big monsters in here, because they're looking at the projection. Same thing with the movie screens, right? You go to the movies, you're looking at the screen, it's all, whatever's up there is fake. It's not even real. It's a whole projection, and everybody's focused on it and fighting over what they can fix and how they're going to fix the projection, when all you need to do is turn around and look at the people that are handling the machinery that's making the thing happen, right? And by doing that, what I've been doing for the past 20 years of my life, I do that, and it seems like all these people that are they're like, shut up, we're watching a movie. Like, just shut up, you're being silly. We got a movie over here. It's like, no. That doesn't matter. It does. It's real. It's happening. But in the scheme of things, it's the symptom. It's not the problem. The problem's over here. But nobody wants to look at it. So, okay. What am I going to do? I guess I'll let this guy
do. No, you're right. I get what you're saying. Sometimes they haven't put the film on purpose, though. Sometimes something happens and a distraction naturally happens. So the opportunistic people are like, oh, quick, let's get something done while everyone's looking over there. So not every sort of like big event was like, I don't think every big event was sort of like premeditated, but there's definitely people waiting to like,
Pearl Harbor, Gulf of Tonkin, 9/11. I can name some others, but I want to be sued for $1 trillion. You understand? Like, because you can't talk about it. So, okay.
But there's plenty of there's people that have things ready to go. So as soon as there is a distraction, they could be like, let's quickly do that thing while everyone's watching the distraction. And they might have to wait 20 years to unveil or to unroll their thing, but they'll do it as soon as there's a useful distraction.
Crazy stuff. It's crazy times here. See what else he's got to say.
A victim here, a crisis actor there. The same pretty face rolled out again and again. To tell your emotions.
Everything's crisis actors, right? He thinks that this may even, and who knows, maybe it is, right? I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying, hey, we need to have just be a little more open to this stuff, because there's a lot of things going on that the common person has no idea. They're being played so bad. Just think of it. Just marketing and advertising alone is brainwashing. They actively are trying to brainwash you and get you to buy something and pull on your heartstrings emotionally, psychologically, flashing lights, blue lights, colors, logos. It's never ending with these people. So you think that these other events or whatever are happening and it's all chance. And like you said, some things could be out of the simulation, right? That are just randomly happening, but then they're going to use that. And they're going to take it and they're going to run with it and turn it into, it all gets assimilated right into the machine with everything else. But all right,
and you eat it up every time. This is literally Obama's film playing out in real time.
They need to think everything's going to be okay.
Can't have music. Remember this movie though? I watched it during the.
I didn't watch it, but I remember it coming out.
It was the power all went out basically, and then random things were happening. Leaflets were being dropped and. The Teslas were all going haywire, and it was the shits. It wasn't a good movie, really. It's one of those movies where it's like all based on the mystery of it, right? And then you really don't ever get to know what's going on. So, yeah, I get what he's saying.
Cyber attacks across the country.
Something is happening, and I don't trust them.
Whatever it is, it's happening to all of.
We can't have music in a boxing ring.
It isn't Palestine. It isn't
even
talk
about them.
Pulled off a genocide.
No, you
election,
can't
but
talk
forgot.
about that. Stop saying these words. Oh, now he's going to talk about the Epstein guy.
Blue light.
Where is he going?
All the words that YouTube doesn't like.
Okay, Trump versus deep state.
Trump versus the deep state. Omen versus old world order. Zuck versus freedom of speech. But they weren't fighting. They were feasting.
Exactly. They were all together. Remember Bill Gates and Zuckerberg? They're all at the White House having dinner together. And everybody's like, I don't get it. I thought we didn't like these guys. It's like, no, you like those guys. Now you do, right? And you like warp speed and you like all the other nonsense that he's been doing because he's just playing the good guy role for many people. Not all people, of course. He's playing the heel role for some
of our Alivea products through our buy one nourish.
And then he starts selling stuff, which he loses me there.
Yeah. You see that? Yeah, I know everyone's got some money to make. Everyone's got to keep the lights on and put food on the plate, but. Yeah, they're always selling something out there.
The truth is the truth to me. And there was nothing leading up to him selling stuff where I just closed it out there. But I'm like, he pretty much hit it all. I mean, how does that country know before our own country knows? They're going to publish it. Then he's got books and songs about his death before it happens. Huh? I don't know. A lot of fishy business and going around all around this. And I've known for years, I've noticed this push to make people more religious in America. And to the point where they have full-blown Jesus commercials during the Super Bowl, which I'm not for or against. Again, I don't do whatever, everybody can do whatever they want. But I'm just noticing, I see what's going on. You know what I mean?
It's the pendulum effect. I was having this conversation with every morning when I go out for a walk, I walk through town. We've got like just religious types with a little sandwich board. They're not like, oh, the end is nigh or anything like that. They're just chatting to people, saying good morning. And we were just talking about it, more younger people coming their way. And it's just the pendulum effect. When I made a dig about atheists earlier, but because atheism became so popular, everyone was like, oh, look at us. We figured it out. Jesus isn't real. It's all just people talking to their imaginary friend. Rah, rah, rah. Look how fucking clever we are. People got sick to fuck of those smug bastards. And some people are cool with it. Ricky Gervais is a comedian, so he makes loads of jokes and that lot. And, I don't ever think that he'd look it down his nose properly at somebody. But a lot of people do. And a lot of people just go, what's that? You're religious. You're a fucking prick. You're a loser. You're stupid.
Oh, trust me. I know both sides of the coin very, very well.
And I just think it's that pendulum come back now. Atheism's just become its own religion, and it's not even a nice religion where people have got together and gone, hey, look, religion have got a good idea. They've got these rules and they've got these sort of like boundaries, and let's not be dickheads to people. And instead of doing that, They've just gone, hey, look, we can just do whatever the fuck we want all the time because no one's going to tell us off in the afterlife. Yes. And people are sick of that. So now I'm not surprised that more people are like going to Christianity and just religion in general. And now, even more so, you've just martyred Charlie Kirk, a moderate. What do you expect is going to happen?
Yeah. It's a wild time to be living in, right? We got AI.
But interesting. It's what you are, but it's interesting, and it's yeah.
AI right around the corner, and people are becoming more religious. I see where this is going, Danny. You know what I mean? I see it. I get it, and I'm not even saying anybody's wrong. Listen, I'm definitely not an atheist. Something has to be making me speak right now. I'm doing a show right now. This is miraculous when you really think about it. If I'm just flying around on a water ball that has flames inside of it or molten lava and I'm spinning around in nothingness, this is a miracle. So something's going on, right? So if you're just like one of these old school atheist people, like that's crazy, bro. You can't really believe there's nothing. Really? You're living right now. That's proof. That's all you need. You have consciousness right now. That's proof that something else is going on because I didn't put myself here unless I did and I didn't know it. Right? So there's something. Anyway. And
but then you feel vulnerable. You feel vulnerable if you admit that there's something you don't understand it. Whereas if you're like, we understand it all. We've got all the answers. There is no religion.
I can't stand people like that. There's no way anybody knows anything that's going on. And that's why I'm always highly suspicious of the, I had dreams and I had visions people. And then also these people, write books that end up being, holy books and things. And it's like, okay, well, I wasn't there when you're getting these visions and things. And when you're seeing angels and dragons, maybe I'm not saying no. And believe it or not, I hope that's real because in the end, we all win, right? Yeah. That's the whole point. But I'm thinking there's a mixture of all this happening, right? That's reality. People are trying to make sense of it. But at the end of the day, I think we do win. But I don't think it necessarily has to come from, the holy books of a certain people we can never talk about. So I don't know. It seems pretty odd to me. Anyway. Yeah, but Paladin, you can come on sometime. I'm wrapping up right now. I'm all talked out. You hear my voice even. But if you want to come on one of these shows, I'll happily bring you on. And no N-words, no porno, please. Don't porn bomb me. Thank you. But, yep, it's really a shame what happened to Charlie Kirk, though. And... of course, family man, young guy.
His daughter ran towards the stage apparently when she heard the gunshot because she was scared and wanted her dad.
Yeah, that tells me that it can't be staged. Then you know what I mean, like because that's next level type stuff.
And just before I went out to go to do some work today, my missus was listening to Mrs. Kirk. I can't remember what her first name is, but she was giving her thanks to everybody for finding this guy and for trying to bring Charlie back, and she was just telling stories, and it's like she's a really good fucking crisis actor then if she is one.
Right.
Because I said to her last, I was like, I don't need to hear this before I'm about to go out and deal with people. It's making me sad and angry, but also crystallizing my thoughts too, and just
I'm all for people keep speaking out against the nonsense, but also don't do anything because it doesn't help, and that again I know these people are crazy and stuff on one side, but to be crazy, that's not going to help your side. As everybody's got their sides. That's not going to help your side doing that stuff. And I think the Trump people really get that. I've heard them say for years, like they would love to shoot people. I bet you they would love to just go and mow these people down. I just know it. But you know what? They're like, if I ever did that, then everything I believe would get crushed like overnight.
Yeah, and they wouldn't. Yeah, and that's the thing. That's why they're targeted, because what's a Christian going to do if you offend them? Most of them are just going to turn the other cheek and pray for you. For the most part, obviously, we've had like instances in history where they haven't, and they've gone, you know what, you've pushed us too far now, we're going to fucking sort you out, we're going to retaliate. But for the most part, you go and upset a Christian, they'll turn the other cheek, they'll forgive you, or they'll just ignore you and let you get away with it, which is why they're an easy target, whereas other religions aren't so peaceful, and you can't even draw them or make jokes about them. Do you know what I mean? It's just, of course you're going to go for those. So, yeah, like I say, Charlie Kirk's a moderate. The response is going to be, the response is going to be a lot worse than anything he could have said or done, and it was just a stupid thing to do, and a cruel thing to do, obviously. But just, if they think they're being clever and political and strategic, it's just like, no, you're playing 1D chess with that one. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just, words are way better weapons, I think, and they last a lot longer. Like I said, the truth is where it's at. If you got the truth, then you don't need weapons, And again, it just doesn't make any sense to me that it would set you back so far doing something like this that it tells me it's an outside source trying to make everybody fight. But anyway, I think I made my point.
I'll counter that with, it could suggest that, but it could also just suggest emotional immaturity, because they're not using this, they're using this. So they've just gone, I don't like this guy, someone on the television told me he was a fascist or a Nazi or whatever, pew pew, there, I got what I wanted, instant gratification, consequences, long term, what's that, who cares, I got what I wanted. And they've just reacted emotionally, and they've not thought ahead and had any idea of what they've done. And so I think it's probably more of that, because there's a lot of that. You see people filming, cutting promos in the car or in front of the mirror, and it's all from here. It's not from there. And
it's always young guys generally, and they probably think that they're going to get some pussy off this. Because look at the Luigi guy. Remember, he was like a heartthrob with a lot of these chicks.
We're easier to brainwash, and look at that particular religion, that particular peaceful religion that used to, well, they still do, but recruit young lads and then promise them all these things in the afterlife and that lot. Other people have just figured out that, oh yeah, those lads are quite easily sort of like manipulated. Oh, they go to university away from the families and not sort of like with the usual support groups. Awesome. That's where we'll get them. And it's just like, you've got that everywhere now. And people go to universities for things they don't need. Like for degrees they don't need, I mean. So it's just, you're so vulnerable there. And you're still kids still, at the end of the day. 16, 17, 18, you're still kids. But I think so. I think you're a little bit older at university over there. But
it's a wild time. Just everything's so just way different than it used to be 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even double that. I mean, man. So that's why shout out to D-Rex again, man. You killed it today. Young fellow, pro wrestler, knows his stuff. He's very invested. Yep. And this is the only show. What other show can go from goofing on pro wrestling and all this stuff and switch it on to Charlie Kirk and taking on honestly, this is like, I was thinking to myself all week, I'm like, I have to at least mention it. I might as well go into depth a little bit about it. But, this is like this is a lightning rod thing. And I'm not trying to make anybody mad or disagree with anybody, right? But it's just, I'm giving my point of view out there. I have a very open mind to all of this because I know I'm not right. I just know for a fact I can't be right about everything. But I've been my average is pretty damn good past 10 years, tell you that much.
Quickly, did you see the interview Tucker Carlson did with Sam, what's his face from ChatGPT?
Oh, yes, yeah, I did. Wow,
yeah. I didn't see all of it, but I saw the spicy clips and I was like, I did not see that coming. Fucking hell.
Yeah, Tucker went right at asking the hard questions. Yeah. Basically, did you kill him? And it's like...
Yeah. His mum says you did, so I'm going to ask you if you did.
It sounds like you're accusing me. He's like, yeah, well...
Kind of
stupid.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Again, of course they would do this stuff. Remember the guy that was supposed to go up in court against Boeing and saying their planes are falling apart in midair and things like that? And he just happened to take his life in a parking lot the day before. Okay, sure. He's doing TV shows and stuff, but he's like, you know what? I think right now is the right time to commit this. Got it. And then the news talks about it as if that's what happened. They don't say that and then go wink, wink. You know, like Dr. Huge does. Like they just tell it like it's a fact. Nope, not buying that either. And shout out to Paladin. It was another great episode. Don't porn bomb me. All right, tell you again, just in case, right? But yep, we killed it. We did another 5-star melter of a show, 2 hours and 45 minutes. You're welcome, everybody. And the way you can help us is just throw us some subscribes. I got a new music video coming out. I may even post it tonight. Ooh. It's all ready to go. I got another song coming. Got another video. Got to chop up for it, but I'm all ready for it. We got plenty of things coming. That's all I've been doing this week. Not a whole lot of wrestling promo videos to edit. I tried. I looked into it. I got that. The last one I did was the CM Punk Becky Lynch one with AJ Lee's return. Go watch that if you haven't. And where can we find you, Danny?
DannyDamage.co.uk. Where is it? There. Awful green screen. I'm on Twitter at Blunt Damage. I have been a bit quiet lately, just having a child, our first kid. So it's a nice learning experience, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's fantastic. But I'm always happy to come on here, and thanks for having me again.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on, of course. And everybody, D-Rex from earlier, great pro. I'm sure we'll have him on, and many. That's how we do it, Danny. We're going to get him on, then we'll get his tag partner on, and we'll start getting more indie wrestlers. People will notice that we're not complete creeps. And then, then the OnlyFans girls will come on.
He didn't have a Twitter account, did he? I didn't mishear him. And
I don't think he does. I think he's just
fair enough.
Instagram, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any of those. I was going to look for him, that was all. That's okay.
You have an Instagram, but you just haven't followed me back.
Oh, I haven't. I haven't used it for years. I keep getting emails saying, it's never been easier to get back on Instagram. Even if you've forgotten your password, it's like, oh, leave me alone. I can't be asked.
All right. You guys in the chat, great today. Yep, that's Reezy. Oh my goodness, where's Reezy been? We got to get him back on soon too.
Yes, I've not seen him in a while.
No. He said he told me in a DM recently. He's like, wrestling kind of stinks. I need a break. And I'm like, I don't blame you at all for that. So if you ever need a break, Danny, don't worry. Just let me know. Be like, I'm not going to be on for a couple months. So this is stupid.
I haven't watched wrestling since WrestleMania, but I've still been on and we've still talked. We've still had a laugh. It's all good.
Yep, I get to explain all the nonsense to you that they've been up to. But all right, everybody, hit the link. That's where all the Dr. Huge stuff is. If you like the show, again, you got to subscribe. I need those watch hours on YouTube if you've been watching on X Machine or Kick with all the other bots. Shout out to everybody. Have a good rest of your day. We'll talk to you later.